Halo. Selamat pagi. Good morning. Assalamualaikum. Ni bukan sound check kita start terus. Dia tak ada sound checknya. Kita bercakap-cakap tak payah sound check. Alright guys. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming to Bunyi, an independent music industry roundtable. It sounds serious. It's semi-serious maybe. Okay. Alright, Chun Puan. So just to remind everybody, it's a discussion. There are seats in front. Saya tak makan orang, Smack tak makan orang, Jen tak makan orang. So marilah ke depan. I tried to make sure the seats are not Air Asia size, so you guys can come to the front lah. It's not squished. Dia rasa macam geek kan? Come to the front guys, come to the front. You know. We are all geek people kan? And then, make sure jaga your bags. At least the chairs in front got like bags. Can sanda. Alright. So, come by. Come by. Alright, so first things first. You guys see the QR codes at the table kan? So the QR codes have a purpose. There are 2 QR codes. One is for the Slido page and the other one is for your program, buku program. So you know that how you go to Kenduris and things like that, they all have program books, right? So my program book is digital. Okay, so the link and the QR code is at the registration table, just so that you know who's organizing this. And then within that program book, there's a participant directory. So let's just say if you talk to someone today and then you forgot to ask for the business card or whatsoever, the directory is there, okay? And then number 2, actually this is the most important part. Obviously, like not everybody will get to talk at this event. So, but this is like a two-way thing. I'd like you guys to get into the Slido page. I think it's there. With one QR code is there. So all you have to do is just go to slido.com and then it will ask you for a code. The code for today is Bunyi. So that's where you write your thoughts, your questions, whatsoever, right? Because sometimes, let's say, for example, Loy gets the mic and he starts to ask a question or he gives a suggestion. And then Fuad wants to build up on that tapi tak sempat get the mic, right? So Fuad can add to Loy's suggestion on the Slido page. Can or not? Right? So get on the Slido, let's have conversations online, and the Slido page is going to be active until Tuesday. So let's just say korang balik, makan, dinner, and then you guys have more suggestions, just get on the Slido page. Alright? And the conversation goes on from there. Cool? So that's 2 QR codes, 2 links for today. Number 3, today's event is recorded. Okay, so it's recorded audio by Bijan's team over there. Dune at the back is in charge of videos. It's recorded for documentation purposes. It's recorded for archiving purposes. And hopefully by the end of all this, how it's different from all the discussions that you've been to, it's documented and hopefully can come out with a gorgeous report. Data from it. So data is the pretty in thing lah now kan. So yeah. What else? Okay. Anybody has issues with the QR codes, come to me and we'll sort things out. Your program is digital also. So we're going to start with Smack's slot and then it'll be mine after lunch. Lunch is provided. Will be Jen and Rahul's slot. Okay? Yeah. That's all guys. Enjoy today and make sure it's a two-way thing. Oh, because it's recorded. Belum lagi. Make sure when you want to cakap, get on the mic. Okay, grab a mic. That's like 2 going around. Cool? Okay, dah? Okay, start. Yeah. Oh, saya Ili. Tak. Oh, say. Ask the question, say who you are. Macam saya Ili dan saya ada soalan. Okay, like that. Cool. Smack, over to you.
Terima kasih Ili, selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum. Ala-ala kerajaan sikit. Saya Semek sebagai pengurus sektor visual art dan juga independent music. Ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada anda semua kerana menghadiri Bunyi, itu sesi meja bulat indie music pertama di Malaysia. So apa kita ada, mula-mula kenapa kita ada sesi meja bulat ni? Sebab saya rasa cendana untuk sektor independent music atau indie music ni belum diketahui lebih ramai lagi. Jadi nak tanya siapa dah tahu pasal cendana? Angkat tangan. Sorry ya, agak kerajaan-ish. Siapa yang tak tahu? Siapa yang tak tahu pasal cendana? Everybody like, what the fuck is cendana? Anybody? Okay. So I think basically everybody knows about cendana, but as a sector manager, I still see very little applications coming from independent music. We have an example here, Justaka and Fuad. So TVS and Kyoto Protocol has been beneficiaries of Cendana's grant. So I hope after this meeting, after this roundtable, we'll have more participants from indie music. Pasal saya tahu banyak band-band, banyak artis yang buat benda kat luar negara atau dalam negara, tapi not being funded as they should lah. So yeah, moving forward, we'll have that. Okay, my topic today is on being independent. So being independent, let's go with the thought that a world without cendana, okay, a world without funding. So that's the essence of being independent, right? So some people say like it's hard to be independent because we have no funds, whatever. Yeah, but I'm just going to share you a case of a similar story which has ups and downs. And okay, I'll just shut up and start. Okay, I'm just gonna share you about Sub Pop. Sub Pop is a Seattle label and the independent label that was known to the world for the grunge movement, introducing Nirvana to the mainstream. They did not release Nevermind, the groundbreaking album, but they introduced Nirvana to the mainstream. So I think that's where indie labels work. They're very community-based, they're very scene-based, and they get to introduce all these acts to the world. Okay, a bit of history started by Bruce Pavett and John Poonman in 1986. They went bankrupt for a month after quitting their jobs, meaning like nobody knows how to run a label fresh off the ground. So then they released Mud Honey's Touch Me I'm Sick in limited copies, and this later was adapted by labels throughout the world. This is, some limitations you can you can maximize it, you can capitalize on your limitations. So, and then they learn from, because Sub Pop is a very regional sound. So they research on Motown records or SST records, which, Motown records took the sound of soul and sound of Motown even. So it became a signature sound. So Sub Pop learned from that, and then they created a cohesive brand identity and also the Seattle sound, which, means like, I'm not saying that shitty recording is good, but also you have a significant sound that helps your brand or that helps your artist go further and get recognized. So one more limitation from Sub Pop, even from that age, that era in the 80s, there were no love from American media. So all your, spin magazines, all your Kerrang, they won't interview all these guys from Seattle. So what they did, they went to Melody Maker, British music press, and then they flew in Everett True, a journalist, and told about the grunge movement. So the Brits and the Europeans picked up on grunge much earlier on than Americans. Then, I think it's a kind of like a UNA thing here, where, UNA broke up in the States and they came back here and it became big. So I guess, these are some things that you can overcome with just reaching out. But nothing lasts forever. In 1995, 49% shares of the label was sold to Warner Music Group. So Sub Pop did not become independent anymore. But some shit went down from 95 to 2003, a lot of lawsuits, then Sub Pop released Give Up by Postal Service, which hit 1 million units. For an indie label in US, I think at that time, it was, quite a nominal feat. So Hoop was renewed, and now Sub Pop is still releasing new and relevant acts such as Beach House, Fools, Father John Misty. I mean, these acts headline festivals all around the world. And even though for a long time with ups and downs, it's still keeping its status as a medium-sized but fully independent label. So I'm saying that, of course they got funding, of course they, were bought shares by Warner and some shit went down. But I think being independent, saying here it's not easy. So, but the least we can do from Cendana is support your endeavors and hope to track it. Then we can present it to the right bodies and, make something out of this industry, inshallah. Okay, I'm about to have a discussion with you guys. Do jump in whenever you want to. Okay, so I see a lot of people here, not just musicians, but art managers, artist managers, live venue owners, cassette store owners. Hi, Rosie. So I just want to put a point that everybody here knows that not everybody needs to rock out, but not everybody needs to be a rock star. Okay, so that's why we're here as a community. So we need to create a functional indie ecosystem, as tacky as it sounds, but I think everybody needs to, be a part of this movement. I can see some groups, working together, and there's a collective going on. But I guess, or I hope, with this Bunyi Roundtable, we could work more together, and projects could happen. Okay, and I know a lot of people are wearing many hats. Reza Saleh, for instance, is a singer-songwriter, but also, organizer, very avid purveyor of the singer-songwriter scene. So I think that's a very good example, and I see a lot of people doing that as well here. So kudos to you guys. Collaboration, not competition. So I know that some people are very keen to collaborate, but I know some people think music is still a business, largely. So, okay, I want to have this conversation going on. Okay, let's have a thought. Let's say your standard rate is, let's say, 5,000, right? And then when an independent gig organizer comes up to you and say, hey, we don't have money, we're self-funded, would you charge the same amount as your, other corporate shows or not? Can anybody answer that? No? Minta mic bit. Sorry.
Hello, Fuad here from Kiro Protocol. So basically, we do have a standard rate for corporate shows and all of that jazz. But if it's a show that gives us return in other non-monetary ways, then we're willing to reduce the monetary factor. That's how we look at it. So if a show wants to do something on a more independent basis, we actually have one example. I don't know if we should look at it. We'll keep it. We can talk about it?
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? Okay, Arin's okay to talk about it, so that's cool. So Arin says, for example, and I feel her, she's running a business, it's a fledgling business, it's a startup, right? It's essentially a startup, right? It's a record store, and she says she doesn't have a lot of money to pay. And I said, well, that's fine. Maybe we could work out, so for example, social media is a really big thing, and it's very important for artists to build that up. Then we are trying to work together to see how we can get some kind of social media ROI. And instead of it being up in the air, we tried to even get into specifics. But as I told her, that this is new ground for us. We don't really know exactly how to calculate all this stuff, but at least we'll try to figure out some framework. We agreed on something, and we're playing on the 30th of April. Plug the show.
Great, okay. That's like a free invitation right here. Okay. So I guess you could always work out a deal or to maximize or get leverage out of the payment, because out of being in the sense of being in a community.
Yeah. So I think for us as a band, the other part is to also look at our long-term viability. Having cash today and forcing her to pay us a lot of money or whatever is going to be okay. Fine. Maybe we can buy another pedal or what, or we could just do something else quite frivolous with the money. But say if you grew your follower count and all that on social media, then it actually makes you more attractive for future deals or when you pitch other guys. So that's also the other side of it. I think it's a win-win. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I've never heard about that win-win situation before. So yeah, everybody wins. I guess your sense of community needs to be really strong. I guess then Malaysia and KL is not even a big scene to begin with. So yeah, I'm very proud. All right, next let's get to the topic money, or like how to go on without it. So I guess also one thing is educating the audience. It comes like the chicken and egg dilemma where I want to play a show but I don't have any money, but the audience don't have an audience, so you need to educate your audience first. So I guess right now there's no excuse for you to not to connect with your fans or with your audience. There's always a lot of social platforms around, social media platforms. So when you create your audience, you also create your community. I'm saying like not just all your musicians or your managers or whatnot. Your fans or the people that go to gigs, they are your community. They go home, they blog about it. They are really emotionally affected by shows. Some of you might know it. Some people their lives change because of attending one show. So I guess that energy should keep on going, should keep on spreading. And yeah, it's really very tough battle, I guess, because along the way people get married or like people have life commitments, they just lose out on being a part of the community. But it's okay. As long as you build your audience and you build your community, I'm sure one day they will just come back, or like and then be part of the scene again. also, I want to take an example of White Shoes and the couples company from Indonesia. So they did. I think this is also an effort with the Ministry of Education in Indonesia, where they go into SMA, sekolah menengah awal sekolah atas . So they would play in schools, and all these schools would it's a rare thing where you have bands playing in school. I'm sure some of you had the privilege of having Butterfingers playing in the school, right? So I guess that's kind of like, if it's not life-changing, it has an affiliation for you with the scene, or you're feeling like, okay, I'm in a part of this community. So when White Shoes go and play to all these schools, 10 years or 12 years down the road, all these kids are already grown up, and they're probably like bank managers or pilots and whatnot. But the sense of belonging of the community is there. Hence, these are the kind of people who like only go to gigs once a year, or maybe like even 3 years once, but they still feel they owe the community something. So if you do crowd funding or ask for support, these guys would come out and give you help. So yeah, don't limit your audience, I guess, and you can always customize your set, or like configure your set towards an audience. I'm sure you guys are very creative, innovative in that part. Okay, so one more thing is get out of KL. Thank you, representatives from out of KL, for coming here. So this is also an opportunity for you to get to know each other and network and make shows out of KL. Cendana is focused on the creative and cultural economy of Kuala Lumpur or Klang Valley, but we take data and our grants are for everyone to apply. So silakan Jen, mic a bit.
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I want to play devil's advocate right here. We talk about growing our audience, but most of our bands do not have access to schools or universities, which is the major target market for our industry. We need help from the government sector to be able to allow music to go into the universities, because age group that really listens to music is 16 to 24, and that is your university crowd. If I can get in even earlier, which is impossible to get into sekolah menengah, that is the time actually. Form 4 is the time when people are out there talking about our scene, not about Taylor Swift or something else. So I really think, although it's part of my topic of touring, that universities and schools should allow access for music to go in. Whichever way, we should be able to get in there. The second thing Sorry, guys. I really also think that how corporations can help us. The bigger corporations, they have a tendency to do shows because they have media clout, media power overnight. Today, we could plan a band tour and the schedule is clear. Tiba-tiba, I'll have something ria happening free in a padang with 10 million artists. How is a gig that is the incubator to what happens on that padang going to survive? Thanks. That is my devil's advocate. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Jen, for the confusing questions. That's right. The first one is a comment. The first one I think is a suggestion that we should, we should look into and probably like change it into an action or a policy where, I guess I'm not blaming anyone, but maybe during the old regime, it's been deemed that musicians or rock bands shouldn't be close to school children. They might be sniffing glue or, raping their teachers after school, after UPSR or whatever. So I guess, people are very informed now. But I applaud a few acts such as Iqbal M, who went on to sell CDs. So if, let's say you cannot play with these kids in their school, perform in their school, so at least you can reach out with your music or just physically and then, make a all ages show. So make sure, your show is not in a place where they serve alcohol, the rules lah. So yeah, maybe we can try to make more all ages show rather than 18 above shows.
But I'm Idris. My name is Idris. I think you can make the show all ages, but if let's say your show is at night, like some parents might not allow their kids to come, even if it's all ages. So I think that she's right. Like if we can go straight to the school, and then the younger people are the ones who will be older later on, and who will be spending money. Like if we target like the older, like say people from 20, 25 and above, yeah, they get into it, but after, like you say, people get married and busy with work, they stop. Some people continue, but most people will kind of stop, consuming music. So I think the best way is actually to go to the schools and stuff like that,
Okay, thank you, Idris. So, saying that, we'll just, hello, Asmil, you want a question? Wait up, okay. Now we got it going.
Hello, good morning. Hi, I'm GD.
Okay, Kejap, cikgu.
I'm GD. I used to sing for Dakla. I stepped down from last year. Then I founded Zoners Entertainment, a collaborative organizer, a metal organizer, and also I founded Death Return, a collective commitment tour for all metal bands. My question is, first of all, I agree with Jennifer Thompson for what happens if there's a bigger show and there's a small gig on the same day. And my question is, would Cendana fund the Malaysian metal scene, where there's a risk of organizing or performing metal is high because of the stigma and bad perception of metal?
Okay, that question is very like, whoa, in my face, but okay. Yes, yes. Essentially, we're a cultural economy development agency, nothing to do with artistic development. So yeah, it's very subjective, your art, right? So as long as it brings in number, it makes, put Malaysia on the metal map.
Yeah.
So why not?
Because in Malaysia, we have a lot of demands. I keep getting the audience asking me to bring bigger bands. Like, for example, last week, we were supposed to have Imyo performing here in Black Box, but it was postponed.
So that's another thing. We are focused on our local acts. Hence, bringing shows, organizing shows and bringing shows from artists from overseas is not really a priority.
Mm-hmm.
But we could work something out, probably like help the local band or help the opening band.
Yeah, but the problem is the stigma and the bad perception. Like, let's say Imyo, the first time we applied, it was denied. And then we tried to do Rayuan again, it was successful, but now it's postponed. When we tried to apply a band called Betraying the Mothers, it was declined because of their name. And sometimes bands also decline because of their lyrics.
What's the name of the band again?
Betraying the Mothers.
It's a local band.
No, international band.
So that's why we don't support international bands. We only support local acts. So
Yeah.
so that's like organizing an international show, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe we could like have discussion later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Zili.
Thank you.
Great question, everyone. Azmel, you know, by the way. Yeah.
Thank
So
you, Azmel.
just lifting off where Jennifer came from, talking about university and school. So university itself is a big bureaucracy. I'm a lecturer. But the irony, how many of you here actually study music? Okay, let me see. It's a few hands. 1, 2. Formally. Studied some degree. Okay. All right. Okay, look at So this is very important because a minority tends to be those who study music, and they tend to be audio engineers instead of studying the craft, right? So I teach in university where there's a film program and there's a music program. I teach a film program because that's what my training was. I'm not allowed to teach a music program because I never belajar all the tauge. I actually did take grade 3 and I stopped it because playing all this dead European music. So anyway, but my question is, I think like, what kind of Cendana, yes, you're funding artists, etc. But I think there's also an important aspect of advocacy, and exactly what just now you were talking about metal. I mean, like for example, I've written chapter about black metal, all this when Paul's Place got raided and all that stuff. So, but it's a more sociological interpretation of all these perceptions, right? And that hasn't changed. Okay. So but we're known for that. If you look any overseas, Malaysia is kind of known for its extreme music. It is one of our cultural products, really. But the fact that it still gets pushed aside, I mean, if that stuff is just kind of like, why don't we leverage on that? Why is that still a problem? I don't get that. And I'll be honest, most of the guys in the extreme music scene tend to be the nicest people. Very polite, but go on stage, give it all. It's that whole, they put on a different hat. Okay. So what I'm trying to get is also like I said, looking at Jennifer's question was the education, not formal, because most of us are actually the most interesting musicians tend to be not formally trained. So I look at the music, nothing against music students, but they tend to be very structured, right? You learn, you practice too much. I'm an advocate for less practice. So anyway, what I'm saying is that how can Cendana kind of like help out with this advocacy in terms of educating, not learning music, not just promoting shows, but also changing, I guess you could say, the larger cultural perception. That's sorely lacking. Malaysia is a conservative society, like it or not. And we are all working with that constraint, right? We all know that, like with the music we make, consciously we're already self-censoring what we want to do. Like I play on the, I play in the margins. I like being in the margins because I can say whatever I want. And that's what I see that's meaningful. But I'm a minority. But for the majority, let's say, even like the metal scene, which is huge, how can we leverage on that? Is there any plan to kind of like, I think that's something interesting.
Thank you, Azmil. I don't think I have an, a definite answer or solution for that. Because, mostly the stigma is a social thing. So unless I work with Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat and whatnot, then I can, pass every house a metal compilation CD and be like, hey, here's an introduction for you to Malaysian metal music. But I think also in that sense, Azmil, thank you for saying that, the margins and whatnot, and penerimaan orang terhadap music ataupun budaya. Sadly to say, metal is just probably, it does represent a community, but even our cultures like Mak Yong and Menorah, they still get sidelined and by authorities, even by society, and as it really depends on the, as a governing party lah. So I think we're in the same plight, metal and Mak Yong and Menorah whatnot. We have a social stigma, whereas it's just music, it's just culture. Cendana definitely cannot change that overnight, and I think, but we can change it as a community. So I guess, don't be afraid. I guess I don't know. Okay, Brandon wants to talk. Okay, go Brandon.
Hi guys, my name is Brandon. I've been an artist manager and development for artists for the past 10 years. I know I look really young, but I just want to take some heat off Smack because I feel like he's being bombarded like nobody's business. But I get the whole metal and the niche scene. I'm representing the pop mainstream industry. I believe that pop mainstream has it a little bit easier. Well, let's just go back to Jennifer's comment about getting into schools. With my previous artists, like I've developed and managed Narmi, John Liddell, Talita at some point. And we do get a lot of schools basically approaching us to perform, you know, and it's more often than not zero money involved, you know. And I think, yes, in terms of Cendana being able to help with bridging the connection, maybe like a database or a point of entry would be really helpful, because usually how this happens is like maybe Interact Club. They'll come and reach out to us, you know, they'll probably stalk social media and get in touch with us. And that's the only way really. But if we can have more opportunities and maybe even educate some of the people saying that, hey, don't be afraid to approach the artists. You know, they might, I mean, they understand it's a school thing. They won't charge you 6,000 per gig, right? So in that sense, I guess it can happen, and it has been happening. Maybe not so much for metal scene or more indie scene, sorry, more niche scene. But yeah, it happens, and the ROI for that is great. Like whatever Jen said is correct, you know. Form 4 is really where the bulk or your core audience is, especially for the pop industry, right? Because they'll carry you with them into the working world. And guess who's they're gonna hire during the annual dinner? You, right? So I think it's baby steps. I think when it comes to metal, the stigma, of course, yes, but to rely heavily on Cendana, I think is a little bit unfair at the very start. I think it can always start with you, you know? Have maybe an initiative in the metal scene about, I don't know, promoting positivity. I'm sorry for my ignorance in the metal scene. I'm not involved there. But, you know, like, there's a lot of things we can do in social media these days with the movement. And it all starts with you. I think everyone needs to have accountability of their involvement in the industry. I think with that, things can really take a change, and Cendana can leverage off you instead of the other way around. Thanks.
Thank you, Brandon. So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to help you out, Smack.
Okay.
Floyd, back here again. I'm going to help you with that. It sounds like we have a solution. You guys are funders, right? You're not trying to change the world. You can't change the world, and you realize that. But what you're saying is you're giving money to people for change. So it sounds like we have a gap here. Brandon, you were saying people don't really pay for school shows. Cendana, why don't we fund some school shows? Let's do it.
All right. Okay.
School tour,
echoing
right?
from that, what we have right now.
Let's do it.
We have this program called Artists in School program. So, you know, or any of you that has an idea on how to use music or whatever art form as an education platform or as an education module would be great. So yeah, if any of you have any ideas, let's talk after this, and I will develop it later and then propose it to, because we are in the talks with Ministry of Education, but it's not very specific, you know, whatnot. So let's discuss later. So I guess that's a start. Yes, Jen.
Just a very quick thing. What I'm trying to say here is I'm trying to open up a conversation. It's not attacking Cendana. Just let me be very clear about this. We're here to make solutions and to bring ideas to the table. I play devil's advocate because I want to hear your voice. We all want to hear your voice to see how we can help you get through your problems and what you face in the scene. Thanks very much.
Yes. If you have personal questions or like about your band specifically, you can always ask me after the discussion.
This is Zidi again. First of all, in the metal scene, we are not trying to ask fun from Cendana. We're trying to find solution. Because I created Death Return Tour is to help the bands. All the bands are collectively, work together as a commitment to make this tour together. We're not asking for funds. We are asking for solution for the stigma. Even though if you apply permits or any other sorts to do, when we organize a show, sometimes we get raided for no reason. And last 2 years ago, 2017, my show got raided and we were accused of having drug possession. That's the only thing we ask, just a solution.
We don't have a solution for that. I'm sorry. I don't work for the police. I don't
Yeah.
work with ADK. So I guess my advice, you should take up with the rightful body lah, agency.
Yeah, we
And
understand.
then if you want us to support, we can always write a supporting letter or an advocacy letter lah. But I think that would be, I guess, a personal attack for you and your organization, and we can always support that by giving letters. But I think to take action should be taken by you lah.
Yeah. Okay, next for the session.
Okay, thank you. Ya, cikgu. Yes.
Hey Smack.
And Hafiz.
So aku dah dengar tadi soalan.
Ya.
Aku rasa semua soalan tu berkisar tentang duit, duit dan duit.
Ya, and then aku cakap macam mana kita nak buat tanpa duit.
Okay, so aku agak terkesan sebab seorang pun tak ada kisah pasal di authentic karya yang sepatutnya band indie ada. So aku berpendapat tentang kalau karya yang dibuat untuk industri oriented, kau tahu dia punya julat ataupun range dia sempit. Cinta, kecewa, cinta, duit tak ada, cinta, konflik-konflik hidup. Tapi dalam independent scene, kau tengok julat ataupun range isu yang disentuh luas, daripada feminism, daripada sexism, politik. So kau boleh nampak lah. Dan kat sini akan ada masalah sebab melalui pengalaman aku sendiri, the authentic of band tu, kalau kau pergi mass, kau pergi mainstream, kau lihat pada Hujan, kau lihat pada Masdo, semuanya radio friendly dan kadang-kadang dia tak represent the indie scene, the indie scene lah. Okay, aku rasa kau faham lah aku cakap. Sebab dan aku nak bagi tahu kat sini ialah apa yang kita patut bersetuju ialah akan ada dua camp kat sini. Satu camp industry base dan satu camp ialah indie
Scene lah, dari scene lah.
Scene lah.
Yeah.
Aku nak cakap scene kan macam poyo pula kan. Okay, scene satu, industri satu. So kita tahu industri dia memang complete dah, ada support system dan sebagainya. So indie adalah masalah, kita ada masalah tentang tu. Tapi kita ada scale yang kecil. So bila dah ada dua camp ni, kau sebagai wakil cendana, macam mana kau nak, ada tak apa-apa cara untuk kau ukur keperluan dua yang berbeza ni? Sebab aku yakin, sebab kalau diberi bantuan pada band-band yang jahat-jahat, okay, yang banyak sentuh isu-isu yang aku sayang sebenarnya sebab itu represent scene lah. Kalau dia going to benda yang besar, dia akan jadi jinak. Dan aku sayang autentik tu. Dan aku nak tanya tentang tu lah. Ada tak satu kaedah ataupun cara untuk kau mungkin bantuan berbentuk monetary untuk industri dan scene punya.
Okay, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you. Smack.
Tapi tadi kau cakap pasal ada duit, last kali kau sebut pasal duit juga. So sama jugalah, kan? So
dia macam ni sebenarnya, yang duit tu kita tak boleh tolak.
Ya, itu betul.
Kau
betul.
apa je, kau memang tak boleh tolak duit.
Ya.
Tapi sekarang ni authentic music tu.
Okay.
So kau, aku nak tanya, ada tak pengukuran well tailored punya kaedah ataupun aku tak nak sebut kaedah tapi mungkin kau boleh lihat kau sendiri pun dengan killer, kau pun tahu keperluan kau di mana. Okay, thank you bro.
So aku rasa benda tu, terima kasih Fiz, benda tu lebih kepada preference orang lah. And memang ada dua pool berbeza. Satu lautan, mainstream, satu lagi macam tasik, sungai ke kan, indie. But these two like they correlate and they flow. So sama ada band Masdo Hujan akan jadi satu gateway band ataupun gateway act kepada all these kids yang nak lebih. Mungkin diorang start dengan Masdo tapi they end up jadi fan of Digayu. So there's always a trail. And mungkin juga kau start off with Bunyi Solitude, dan sekali jadi peminat besar Elizabeth Tan. So there's always a flow. I guess yang menjadi pengukur tak pengukur tu kita ada data on that, but if you don't use it, then it would just be there. So what we can use from this data kat sini, kita orang collate kan, kita orang buat report, yang mungkin korang boleh pakai. Contoh korang boleh cakap macam banyak lagi peminat metal dekat dengan Sarawak berbanding dengan Peninsula Malaysia. Jadi mungkin kita boleh lebih banyakkan lagi scene festival metal kat sana. Dan mungkin Cendana pun boleh fundkan sebab dia mempertingkatkan scene metal industri lokal. And nak cakap pasal band-band jahat, kita sebenarnya tak membantah permintaan orang-orang band-band jahat ni. Kita baru sponsor saja sekumpulan orang gila punya recording kat France, Mobility. So it's not about you being, a metalhead or you have a crazy ass band name. It's just about your proposal and if it fits under our mandate or whatever we fund for. It's a technical thing, but you can always come to me and ask me questions about it, about your application. Then we can talk it further. Okay, let me finish my presentation or discussion. Let's go with the last one. Okay, networking.
Smack. Hold on. One last one before that. I'm just curious, right? You guys have been asking Smack about getting fundings or like, why are we not getting money and stuff like that. But ada tak anybody here who have done things without funding? Like you've gone on tour without funding or macam funding korang takat mak bapak duit mak bapak lah gitu. Ha.
Ada, semua pernah ada. Yeah, everybody's gone to, yeah.
Hello, my name is Najwa. I started out as Najwa Mahedin and rebranded. And I think part of my issues when I rebranded was that, people still relating me to the previous artist that I was. And not being, okay, can I just be real here and just say that for the past probably 3 or 4 years, as much as I wanted to probably get funding from government organizations, I wasn't able to do that because of who I was. So there was always this tendency that if, getting into politics even if I didn't want to. So that was a big issue for me. And having to still push this new brand, I had to just start from scratch and just do like a whole tour all by myself. So what we did was, again, engaging in venues to provide us with, just slots or not slots because we were trying to think out of the box. So instead of doing it at music venues, we did a three-stop tour. We started off in Johor Bahru. We just engaged with like a photography studio. So it wasn't even like a music venue. They were willing to give us, for a very discounted price, to provide their space and also leverage in terms of like just, their audience. And then after that, we went to Penang, but we kind of engaged with, what was the Georgetown Festival. So we were sort of part of the program, but because they had already secured their artists, for Georgetown Festival. So it was like, okay, we will give you, we'll sponsor, we'll try to get you this venue. So we got a warehouse and we got to do it there. But I think, just being, I feel like doing those 3 shows, like the third one was the final one in KL where we just did it inside this hot air balloon thing.
So the one in Shah Alam, right?
Yes, at Ruang. So we collaborated with this balloon company, hot air balloon company. So they brought in their hot air balloon into Ruang, and of course without the hot air was like decommissioned. And we did a show there completely by ourselves. And I think if only we had the opportunity to engage with government organizations to get funding or even just some kind of support, that would have been great. I think it's a rant because I feel like I'm always put in this position where people say okay, when I ask for solutions, we are being given solutions as artists, but Najwa, you different. different categories. So I don't know where I belong. I don't know whether I fall into the category of like an independent artist who just clearly wants to push her music because of the talent or because of what I believe in. And at the same time, I'm also put in this position where it's like, oh, or even crowdfunding, it's like, I feel like I fall into the position that macam, if I were to ask for crowdfunding, macam, why would she ask for crowdfunding? So why should we put in money? But the reality is we don't have the funds, you know, so we have to do what we can to just, you know, macam, the branding thing and then to push the name, but then there's still, it's like, the perception and also not being able to move forward even more just because of that wall, you know. So like I think back to Eli's question, like we were put in that position whether we wanted to or not, and we managed to make it happen through, you know, these collaborations. But I think it would be great if we could also, you know, get some funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Najwa. I guess also a takeaway from that is you can always, you know, do stuff with your creativity and, you know, what about the hot air deal? Was it paid or was it like a pro bono thing?
So it was, they gave us like a 50% discount. So it wasn't like entirely,
so like an artist rate,
so it was 50%. And for Ruang, it was like, they just took a percentage of our ticket sales.
Okay.
I think for the other, for Georgetown Festival was, of course, like, they didn't take any money from the ticket sales. They just provided us with the venue and some kind of support in terms of, like, you know, putting us on the program. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess in essence, you know, that's being independent. AF, but yeah, saying that our funds are open for everyone, and we don't, you know, at my level, at our sector engagement level, we would totally advocate for anything that you do, if it, you know, doesn't degrade or, you know, you have your checkpoints lah kan nak buat. So but other than that, we try our best to advocate for it and push for it and get evaluated by our industry advisory panel. One person you can talk to is also Rahul, which is not here yet. But yeah, okay, Razi.
I think we are bucking up on a wrong tree here, because everybody keep talking about money and funding.
Don't you buck?
No, the thing is, we tend to forget that you guys were lucky enough to have that big indie early 2000 explosion. I think that's the reason why we all are here now. Actually, we are wondering when is that next indie wave going to come. Okay, and then we forget that we tend to forget that back in the early 2000s, right, there wasn't any funding. No offense from Chenana, it wasn't money. It wasn't money from you guys. It was a youth culture movement. I think we are forgetting one big thing, man. You guys keep talking about money and money and money here and money there. Actually, you see, grunge wouldn't happen if Nirvana got big, not because of funding from some art council or. And I believe Butterfingers Times OAG got big, not because of some funding from
Kerajaan mana-mana.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe you're part of that wave too, Smack. And
No.
the thing is, like when the indie scene got big, right, and then even metal scene got big. Even metal scene make money, I believe. Even ACAB, the punk band, you know, got big. So it's like they make some money out of it during that time. So it's not really about money. I always say it's about youth culture. It's like, and then Malaysia, we tend to like, the scene, right, we tend to like get stuck in the early 2000 indie explosion wave.
You don't move on, right?
We wouldn't be here if Pastel Light were making like thousands and thousands of money, or Jack Fastbeat or Last, you know?
True.
I think it's not about money, man, guys. It's about youth culture.
Definitely.
When and then you guys keep saying about, like, you know, corporation not giving money and all. So it's chicken and egg problem, actually. You know, corporation wouldn't want to sponsor something that they know they're not going to be like getting something out of it, you know. So the band got to be like, you know. So it's youth culture. It's actually as simple as that.
Thank you. So I guess what Razi is saying is not, you know, it ain't shit lah. If you don't do shit, Cendana can do shit for you lah. So, you know, it's all up to the community, and we're only here to support it and advocate stuff. Thank you, Razi.
Okay, hi.
Hello, Arin.
My name is Arin. Okay, basically I manage and I have an event venue, record store, whatever. Okay, anyway, because right now we're talking about, how we want to, about the stigma, about metal, and then how to make money and whatnot. All this while I've always been the, music, enthusiast, fan. So I'm never a musician, or, I'm never, or before this, I'm just an event organizer. Okay, my thought is right now, since we want to do all this culture movement or music movement or whatnot, why not we try to make an event where everybody just be in one roof, like on like every scene. I don't know, maybe last time you guys did it, but maybe like a festival of a combination of metal, indie, pop. I'm not sure whether we have done this before. Maybe a cross-culture thing is a good thing. So we gather people from every scene and then make all this, our, audience, get to know each other more. I know before we have these venues like Cloth and Class, where I think it's very good platform where, hip-hop scene, metal, bands like, bands and then across DJs and whatnot. So it's a small space. Why don't we make it like festival?
Like a bigger,
bigger, and over there we can have like a talk about educating people about metal is not jahat, it can be combined. So maybe we can try to from there all these stigmas and about yeah.
Okay. So more like a music education platform. Alright, cool. Thank you for that suggestion.
Right. Hi, I'm Fayyad.
Hello,
I'm Fayyad from Junklis.
Hello.
So I would like to know what are some of the things that Cendana expects from independent media outlets such as Tapau, Junklis, and so on. So that's it, only basically.
Okay. Expectations. I mean, I don't think it's only from Cendana lah. I think it's from the whole community as well. Yeah, because you are media platforms, but that you guys are definitely a community media platform or community media platforms as it is already. So any way that you can maybe expand your operations or go further, or maybe in terms of marketing, whatever, that would be great. And then definitely you can come talk to us if we can do something. But it would be great, I think, for the community if you could also move your media platforms regionally. Like The Weeknd is doing that, but I think if we have a few more platforms, it would be stronger. And because it's really even hard for us to penetrate even festivals in Indonesia. Like Pastelite should have played We The Fest last year, but we still penerimaan tu tak meluas lah, or tak terbuka lagi. So I guess media platforms like Tapau and Junglis can definitely help with that, with their own networking as well. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anwar. First of all, I would like to correspond to Ari's address just now. Last 2 weeks, or last week, I forgot. On 9th of March, we did a gig named Semesta, Series 1. The gig Semesta had an idea of combining the sounds of, Semesta. And Semesta has various sounds. We have metal, we have pop, we have post-rock like Kogiran Meme, and we have so many, we had 8 bands. All 8 were from different set of sounds. We have Alimin who played folk songs, and we have Hectic who played punk rock songs. Okay. Actually, we are Landasan and Hazagi Records, and Junklis and even Sticky Box and Alam Bunyan, we gathered to make this. This was the first installment, Semesta Series 1. We are planning to go further, and we are planning to make it big so we could combine all these sounds from Semesta together on one stage. So that, okay, the impact from the gig was, okay, let's say people came to the gig for Hectic. They love punk rock. At the same time, the same audience had an opportunity to discover new music like Alimin, like GRC, Glistening Red Chair. And the impact was positive that they gained new followers. So the inter or cross genre audience really had an impact in introducing new music. Okay, that was my first point, and my second point is that, okay, I'm very much concerned of Zid's idea just now about metal, and Brandon, if I'm not mistaken, Brandon is it? He said something like the metalheads themselves have to educate the society on metal and change the stigma. But my question is there any initiative from the upper hand or intervention from the upper hand, the authority, the government, or whoever responsible for a bigger a mass media, audience, the people who can reach, the people who can reach all these people really quickly? Ada tak initiative like to change the stigma of music, perception of music, or they are just letting people listening to 4-chord songs on the radio?
Okay, terima kasih. Jawapan yang pertama tu more like comment lah kan. So the second, tak ada. Saying it's a community thing, so it should be led by the community. The government won't give a shit about metalheads or the community unless you start it first. And if they say it's, if it's in their favor, and they will support it definitely. But education starts from the community. Yes, Edwin.
You finished your deck already, or still got few more pages?
I still have one more slide. Yeah. Tapi tak apa, tanya dulu.
Okay, just a quick one. I just entered about 15 minutes, so I just kind of getting the vibe of the space. I'm reading this Banteng, Pembangunan Pesada Seni Malaysia, right? And I feel that I think one thing that I feel from years being I have a day job. I was a television producer, produced a lot of music shows, provided a lot of platforms, Homegrown, Latte 88, Quickie, all kind of stuff. Trying to put out local bands to the front, found bands like Bittersweet, Plague of Happiness, whatever, right? I feel like, in the wide spectrum of things, like the biggest problem I feel is the appreciation towards not just music, but arts and culture in this country. Daripada hujung Johor ke hujung Perlis, I don't think so people really appreciate like music. We are just maybe 5% sitting down in this room talking about this stuff. But to reach out, like I'm thinking maybe something much more bigger. Like I think there was a discussion of something mass, and Arin talked about a big event. Maybe it's not a festival. Maybe it's an event like Tahun Melawat Malaysia. We should do a Tahun Creative Malaysia. Something where it engages everybody, not just musicians, but kids, people in school, orang tua, semua. Like maybe rather than cendana bagi duit kat kita, because fucking hell, some of us might take the money and do drugs. That money should be put up into like, I don't know about that, bro. I think maybe that money should be used to like say, when you're driving in the highway and kau nampak satu billboard besar, appreciate music, or these are some of the, did you know that Yuna now hangs out with Quincy Jones? Not many people know. I feel like sometimes we are really too insular to just what we think and what we feel, like we're just in this room thinking that we are cool. But the truth is, outside there, a lot more people need to be engaged. So maybe something like, Tahun Creative Malaysia, that could engage everybody from the ends of Perlis to the ends of Johor. Then when you have products, like you put out stuff people will actually appreciate, maybe want to buy it, maybe want to get more, because Razi spoke about some music explosion just now. There was a catalyst to that explosion. There was actually a TV show called Kami. There was a radio station called XFM. Now we don't have those things. So if you want to have some kind of catalyst, maybe it could be a nationwide campaign which doesn't only finish once, not just because the new government we do one town creative. It should maybe 5 years down the road. That maybe what should be the role of Pembangunan Pesada Seni Malaysia, because if orang tak appreciate seni, nak bangun pun tak guna.
Okay, terima kasih Edwin. I think that's a good solution as well. And tak tahu kita dah ada ajak rap daripada RTM dengan beberapa media lah. Ada BFM Rakita kat sini. Terima kasih kerana hadirkan diri. yeah, dalam I think in educating, media also needs to play a part, and they're not obliged to, but as a community you can always be nice and talk to them. Don't feel like you're privileged to be playing Gegaria where the other bands are. Band ni main aku tak main kenapa? They have been doing their work, and I guess so should you. Okay, I'm down to 5 minutes, so I cannot talk a lot more. So I'm down to my last slide. I'm gonna open a few questions. Okay, networking. Talk your way to glory. Play your role. So, kalau kau publicist, kau publicize. If you're a manager, then talk about your product, your artist. If you're a media platform, then talk about your media platform and talk to anyone and everyone. Walaupun uncle kerajaan pakai bush jacket, I think that would help. Wait up, Azmail. I think Taka also suggested on Slido, Cendana collect with good vibes to have a networking session between artists and booking agents, festivals, local, international. I think that's a good suggestion. We can look into that. Probably work with Rahul we do the mixer session or whatnot. Yeah, something to look into. Okay, talking about networking as well. So the internet, yeah, definitely you guys have used internet to the max, right? From music blogs, data sites, horse grooming company, I think you should just reach out your music to anyone and everyone. You could long gone are the days where indie music are used as jingles for a commercial, and I think that kind of money, that kind of royalty goes a long way. So I don't know if you guys what's your stance on selling out or not, but I think in terms of getting your music out there, I think there's like bunch of possibilities. And you shouldn't just be harping on, Urban Decay ke, Vans ke. There's a lot of companies that diorang tak tahu pasal indie music because diorang tak educated. So you guys are the teacher, you guys are the ambassadors. So there's open up conversations, start conversations. Don't be just complacent, okay, just go to the same people. And then no shame. If you're in SSW ke, main kat Rio ke, talk to anyone. And I think you can start it here. Talk to the community first, and talk to me, and talk to Rahul, and let's get something going lah. Also, I want to share with you, ASEF or Asia Europe Foundation put out a mobility funding guide in collaboration with Cendana. So kau pasal blah 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 list of public-private organizations. So basically, if you're going overseas or you have somewhere to go, let's say Zonorous wants to bring 3 bands to play in Czech Republic. So you could look up here, and then probably there's a Czech Republic counterpart or a European counterpart that you can apply to. And Cendana will be opening its fund application in May. So please follow us on Instagram, and please leave your email addresses there so I can inform you guys when the grants are out. Just to inform you guys, we focus on mobility, which supports travel and cargo outside of Malaysia and also to East Malaysia. Development, where research and development and whatnot, we can go to that. And then one more is capacity building. So let's say you want to have someone come over to give a talk, or you have a workshop for the community. So we support that as well. Okay, that is all from me today. I will take probably 3 questions or comments.
I have 3 questions.
Okay, siap dah. Alright.
I'm Taka from the Venopian Solitude. It's a 3-tier question, so it depends on the answer.
On Slido.
It depends on your answer. Okay, so the first question is, does Cendana have connections with corporate companies?
We are doing a corporate funding sort of coalition soon. So we would engage a few corporations, and we would try to entice them to support the arts, which is up to 700,000 because that's the taxable amount.
Okay, so that means that you guys do lobby the scene to the companies.
We are in the midst of doing that.
Okay, based on that, is it possible to have like a networking session, like I said, Good Vibes, so can either Good Vibes or I think CMF, Cyberjaya Music Festival was trying to do that, like having a mixer session where you have booking agents, festival directors, and the artists themselves, just like introduce their music to those people. Is it possible to have that with the company so that, let's say, if a band has a plan, like we cannot rely on Cendana on funds, because I know you guys have limited funds. So we have to sort of like look for other collaborations with other corporate companies. So is it possible for probably Cendana in the future to organize that networking session?
Yeah, I think it's a very good suggestion. And if there are nominal people around, let's say booking agents from UK, Europe, so we would totally maximize it. So I guess why not? It's just like we would work with a partner lah. So if you guys have any ideas or have any proposals, do come to us. Then maybe we can do something together.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. From Slido. Okay, ni saya dah tanya. Indie rock darling, how about bands like Hujan Masdo that have greater fan base to help other indie bands by exposing other indie songs based on social media, like how Coldplay did? I guess this is already happening. Noah does his video, and then all other bands are promoting other bands as well. I think Malaysia indie scene has a very strong community sense going on, but I think we need to just make it greater, establish it as an industry. Yes, Is.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalam.
Hi, I'm Ismail from Melodia Recordings. Okay, I'm quite nervous because there's a lot of rock stars and superstars in this room. I feel like so kecil like that. Okay. So, no, I just want to ask, like, Cendana's goals, right? Okay, I've read it on the website, like your whatever objective and stuff. But, like, yeah, I'm kind of... I do not know, what do you want to do? Actually, you want to promote Malaysian music to the world? Or improve it, improve our music industry and whatnot? What do you get out of this? Okay, that's fine. But I just want to suggest that, like... you mentioned like you fund a band to record in France. Money is going out of the country. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for the music industry's economy. So I'm just suggesting that you guys should like fund local artists to record here locally in local studios. Just to like mengembangkan that thing like the economy. And another thing is like, sorry Christina, about Jack Fast Beats, because Melodia Recordings, we record Jack Fast Beats, Leo Ari, a lot of local bands, all these upcoming new artists. So Jack Fast Beats didn't get funding for SXSW, South by Southwest. We got the offer, but we didn't get the funding, so we cannot go recently. So that's one thing. And then what I know is like you mentioned just now, SXXW, like, like you want to sponsor bands to go out there to promote Malaysian music somehow, but yeah, we just didn't get it. And another thing is about, actually, we are talking about indie stuff here. It's all like old school, guerrilla promoting, like promotion and stuff. But in reality now, everything is social media, right? Everything is the internet. We as indie artists, labels, we don't have the resources or the algorithm to promote stuff. I mean the power to promote stuff on YouTube, for example, to get millions of views. We do not have that we do not have that kind of money to promote to that kind of scale. That's why all these major labels like Warner and Universal, all this stuff, they get to do it because they have the money. And we don't. So maybe Cendana could look into that. Like to put money into like our, social network and all this stuff. The algorithm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess those are mainly suggestions. Thank you, but I have to put you down one thing like is about record the Sekupala Orang Gila. We funded them to France because they already recorded and they got opportunity. We also find artists that record locally, such as such as Liaism, and then for Christina, I already talked to her, so it's just a matter of timing. Our funds were not open yet, so I think like whatever you said just now, like we're supposed to promote local studios, whatnot. We do that. I guess, but I think from your point, you shouldn't be seeing in that manner, because you know it's good for artists to record outside. It's a good experience for them. They get to travel, they get to be exposed to culture. Whereas if you say that, it's a bit, I think, it's a bit selfish for you, because you have a recording studio and talking on your on a personal basis.
Yeah,
so
it's
I
not
think
that
that's not
actually
a good
because
community.
it's
that,
more
you
on the
know.
economy. Money is going out.
Yeah, money is going out, but also like the marketing is going out as well.
Yep.
They are cultural ambassadors of Malaysia, be whatever genre. So I guess, yeah, you should perceive it more as an open mind. So more collaboration, not competition. I know you run a recording studio.
Yeah.
I know it's a business,
Yep.
but I guess you should also respect other people's efforts and initiatives.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. But I'm just saying, like, you should focus more on the local service providers.
We do. Yeah, that's definitely our main
to make it
focus.
sustainable.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we're done. Okay, Ilham, one more.
Test.
Yang lain we can just use Slido later kalau sebab tanya. This is the last one, sorry. Silakan.
Aku Ilham dari Pita Hati dan Gudang Suara Records. Aku nak tanya satu soalan bodoh sebenarnya. Mungkin aku kurang inform tentang cendana ni dan aku tak baca semua pasal goals dia semua. Kan? Peranan cendana selain daripada memberi grant, sebab kita hari ni tajuk dia Developing Arts for Malaysia dan Pembangunan Persada Seni. Agak luas tajuk tu dan itulah aku cuma nak tahu selain daripada memberi grant, apa lagi peranan cendana dalam nak membangunkan persada seni Malaysia ni. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Ilham. Jadi selain daripada memberi dana dan juga grant semua, kami juga menyediakan beberapa program. Contoh program hiburan, nak cakapnya hiburan awam lah. We call it public arts programming, where we bring artists or performances to the public. So we start off with banyak. So kita ada 3 mandate. Kita ada visual arts, performing arts dan juga independent music. So we're starting off with traditional performances. Jadi kita punya masyarakat pun belum terima lagi. Yalah, budak-budak KL wayang kulit pun belum pernah tengok, kuda kepang belum pernah tengok. So we starting with that first. Then insyaAllah akan time lagi mungkin kita akan macam Jen cakap, kita masuk ke dalam sekolah, mungkin boleh bawa band, mungkin boleh bawa cikgu-cikgu muzik indie ni. Other than that, we also try to network. So kita ada MOU dengan South Australian government dan juga Backcraft Indonesia. Kita juga ada working collaboration with SG Musu pada Singapore. Jadi ada beberapa peluang atau platform yang timbul daripada MOU ni. Kita akan cuba make something out of it and definitely akan hantar wakil-wakil Malaysia lah. Cuma saya faham bila saya cakap wakil Malaysia, kalau boleh semua orang nak pergi. Tapi kita kena ikut kesesuaian juga. So I'm just saying, as a community, try to empathize and try to be understanding. Kalau ada orang dapat pergi tu, bukan pasal saya suka dia ke apa benda, orang dia anak ni ke semua, bukan. Pasal dia bersesuaian, and then next opportunities will come and probably everybody gets a fair chance. If not, you can always do stuff yourself. Okay, move things yourself, because we can only empower you, but you need to take action. Okay, I guess that's all for now. We can take the questions to Slido. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Smack. Wah, bertalu-talu. Okay, so next session adalah saya dan Alijo. Terima kasih. Okay, so the Slido thing works. I've been seeing a lot of questions come in, a lot of comments. If you guys haven't tried using it, use it lah. So that, everybody gets a fair chance to talk about something or share experience,
Test.
share thoughts and whatnot. Okay, so Alijo, silakan. Second slot kita. Salam.
I was reading around the room, with this previous session, and nampak macam we were focusing too much on this whole boleh ke cendana tolong band-band lokal ni. But I think maybe we're forgetting some other points about actually being a community. So I'm here me and Ili, we plan about talking on benda yang kita boleh buat together lah. We started off tadi, one of the questions in the first session is, pernah ke kita buat something tanpa pertolongan duit? And all of us in this room pernah. You know, sakit you know, we lose money and shit, and we get tired, but we have done it, and we can still do it lah. That's probably the target of this discussion. Let's keep it flowing. I don't want to be like make it like a lecture. Sebab I initially thought I was going to be doing this thing to people yang tak tahu tentang how to navigate themselves in the local independent music scene. But clearly everyone in this room have been doing stuff. We've been at it for a while. Some of us baru nak start, but most of us old faces. You know, we have an idea of how to at least market and promote our own things to our own circle. But actually the music circle is besar, and most of us tak bercampur dengan music circle lain. So maybe that's why everybody has a problem with something. Tapi tak apa, we try and go through it slowly.
Itulah dia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
There will be because
Yeah.
the whole point of this is it's a discussion, right?
Yeah.
So if someone has, Iris has done something brilliant about like finding sponsors ke apa ke, Iris can share the experience, or maybe Arin has collaborated with the metal scene to do something, and Arin can share. You know, it's things like that, because it goes back to what Ali Jo said just now. Yes, because Cendana people, they're here and they're funding this. You can ask them about funding process and whatnot. Ali Jo and I, we're not from Cendana, so you cannot ask us Cendana questions. But we're gonna ask you questions. We're gonna ask you questions right now on, have you talked to the person next to you and you find out dia daripada mana? Where is he or she from? What band? A manager or a sound engineer or a promoter or from the media, because we have all that. And if you guys go through the participants list, you'll get everybody. Can? And that's it. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about management. How do you manage yourself? Then do you plan things ahead of time, or is it an indie thing to just like macam bangun pagi, okay, hari ni kita tour Europe. So how do you guys do that then? How do you guys manage campaigns? Let's start with that. Let's start with management things. Anybody wants to talk about managing? Management?
Yeah, just for a thing, I mean, we kind of know each other in this room here, so jangan marah kalau nama kau kena petik. We just want to hear from you. And I'm just going to go with here and tengok siapa in the crowd, and then can ask you a question. If you can share with us your experience, would be great. And management side of things. One thing I can say, I don't know if all of you can agree to this, tapi bila kau main band, kadang-kadang kau malu nak promote yourself. And then eventually susah kau nak manage practicing for the show and promoting your things. And sometimes you sit behind the screen pun macam you malu nak post, you're playing a show or whatever. So there is the manager for that, and not all of us punya bands yang kita ni ada manager. I think we all started off by self-managing ourselves, and that's probably the early days. We have some managers in here, so maybe we can get some thoughts on job scope ke ataupun elements of a band manager that relate to the people you manage. Arin, can you share something about you're sitting in front, I'm sorry, but yeah. So Arin manages a couple of bands, Jack Fast Beats and apa lagi? No, not anymore. I'm sorry, I'm
not managing Jack Fast Beats, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I manage Golden Mammoth, Swings, but then waiting for them, I don't know. Captain Trades, it's really new bands. And before this, maybe I managed Enterprise, We're back, and then Shuna. Oh, sorry. Okay. But coming from me, like, I have no idea in music business before, swear to God. But because I do events, since from whatever industry, from paintball to fashion to God knows what. corporate. Okay. All from my experience doing, management. I guess because I do, coming from events, music events, I do work with Livescape before. Very rookie last time also. But when I talk to, managers from outside, so I do research and I talk to them, I do research. Like how do you actually manage tours and whatnot. And now I'm actually bringing Golden Mammoth to Indonesia, which is end of this month. So how I did is, before I actually thought of bringing them to Indonesia, I actually nudged people in Indonesia beforehand, like 2 years ago, on the record stores there, music stores, even media, like how things works there, like how actually, the situation over there, like for them to actually accept, especially music from Malaysia. So, and basically it's like 2 years, 3 years ahead plan already before I actually, decided to, and my suggestion here is bringing bands to management event. Like I did 1 year plan for them. But yeah, 1 year plan where from, social media to marketing to branding even, like if, okay, my case study here, I do it with Golden Mammoth right now, like really intensely. Branding, before this we like DIY doing like do logo, and then now we rebranded. How I go about actually, we ask someone from there to design for us. Okay, it's not local, but that's how we want to penetrate the, the market there. Like, get a really famous designer there, and then now like people over there, you got a designer from, this guy, and then so that's how they got to know, yeah, and then what else?
Yeah, I mean, so essentially,
Thanks.
Thanks, Arin. Essentially, there's a lot of other things other than the music that you have to manage with your craft. Actually, design lah, apa, and it's a no right or wrong thing. That's the most important thing. You can go about it however you want, however you see fit. Siapa yang kau kenal. Yang penting sekarang ni is kita kena kenal orang dalam ekosistem kita. So I hear you, abang yang buat gig metal tadi, Zid, sorry, and korang, you feel like, you guys are in your own thing, susah nak dapat recognition, there's a stigma going on, but I would also like to ask you, in your circle, berapa banyak band metal yang try main gig dengan band folk, for instance? Budak-budak band folk, berapa banyak gig yang kau pernah main dengan band black metal? Kita tak bercampur, and I mean, at the end of the day, mungkin is the type of music, right? So kalau music kau tak best, susah sikit lah orang nak ajak main show. So we have an example here of an independent band that started off independent and now they're huge. We don't have the band here, we have the manager here, Ipin from Hujan.
Jangan lambai ambil mic pin.
So aku nak tanya Ipin, for a guy, I mean, Hujan, senang sikit lah macam ni. Daripada main gig dekat gig yang you smallish bands, whatever, and then now Hujan are playing to like 15-20,000 people, go Gegaria and things like that. Apa kau kena buat ataupun like, I mean, it helps that the music is catchy, semua orang kenal Hujan kan. Tapi were there other things about the Hujan punya thing that you had to convince corporates, festival organisers, mainstream people lah, most importantly? Ada?
Actually ada. Untuk Hujan, dia punya kerja is 360 lah. So it goes out to brand, kita create our own production team, kita create our own technical team, kita kena ajar disiplin to everyone. Basically for corporate shows, for big shows, attitude, disiplin kita kena jaga. So whenever call time kita kena ikut. Actually jadi awal. So dia untuk, bukan nak cakap nak jadi besar lah, tapi untuk main benda yang besar ialah kita tak boleh buat sendiri. It cannot just be the band or even the manager. You kena ada your own production team. You kena ada at least kawan-kawan yang buat marketing, yang buat branding, your image. Semua you kena jaga, not just the music. And then maybe good quality of recordings and whatnot. And then yeah, so dia tu lah, dia 360 punya benda lah. So even now kita still main small gigs, tapi kita still even let's say if we play dekat The B, kita still, Hujan ada 4 bandmates je, but then our entourage mostly dalam 20-22 orang yang bekerja, bukan ikut-ikut suka-suka kan. So so benda-benda macam tu lah.
So
even kena
so
bola
to sambung on that, team 20 orang and band 4 orang 5 orang je most of the time. How do you source for crew? So this is the ecosystem I'm talking about, right? You already have the band and they are the ones making the music, but how does Hujan find driver, crew, soundman, people to make up the team?
Okay, so untuk team Hujan, kita start off dengan, most of our team start off dengan fans. Even aku adalah one of Hujan punya fans. And then kita punya engineers, kita pun kawan-kawan juga. So from there kita belajar and besar sama-sama lah. So even for our crew, kita dah work together for the past 3 to 4 years. So everyone knows everything. But then bila kita kerja dengan kawan-kawan, kita kena cari yang ada mentality untuk bekerja sekali lah. So that when it comes to work, it works lah. You know, you don't give like some benda lambat. Kalau benda lambat kena maki lah. Not even just, if the band pun dia tahu, diorang tahu tanggungjawab sendiri. It's not just because you ada lagi 16 orang jaga you, you can just call time pukul 2, datang pukul 3, pukul 4. It's not that lah. Sometimes lambat itu biasa, kita orang, but then most of the time kita akan try jaga kita punya ni lah. And then if you nak main kat luar, orang tengok kita punya call time apa benda semua, kita kena jaga. So but then again, it's not just the core 20 people yang kerja. Sometimes aku jumpa juga Kak Jen ke Didi, tanya macam mana nak buat, you know. It's all about the community ni benda. And then yes, macam tadi ramai orang borak, oh macam mana nak main show university apa benda. Aku dapat invitation my university almost every day actually. It's just that you cannot expect you know, let's say KC, you takkan nak main dekat, you know, convocation something kan. Benda tu boleh sometimes, sebab kadang-kadang aku tanya orang universiti macam, kenapa tak panggil band gini. So dia macam, oh band ni nak ke main show universiti macam tu. So benda tu aku rasa sebelum kita nak blame or nak suruh orang lain tolong kita, kita kena tolong diri kita dulu lah. So you tak nak expose your band to university students, macam mana diorang nak accept kita kan. And then lagi satu aku rasa kita punya community banyak sangat hatred towards each other kot. Macam let's say ni pergi sana, oh jealous, oh dia tak layak pergi sana, oh aku lagi best, sana tak best. Instead of, let's say Aiman Tino, semua orang mungkin kutuk Aiman Tino, but then dia buat dia punya hard work, team dia buat kerja. Maybe kita boleh tanya manager dia macam mana dia buat brand Aiman Tino boleh jadi sampai satu Malaysia suka dia. We never know. Sometimes you nampak satu benda, you terus tak suka, oh music dia tak best, kau rasa kau best, kau mainlah dalam bilik air kan. So benda-benda macam tu lah. So instead of kita nak go negative, kita should go positive. Everyone can share everything. Thank you.
Also one thing I want to pick up from Ipin's point, actually banyak lah. Ipin dan Hujan ada crew dan I've seen how Hujan works. So Ipin, belum lagi Ipin?
Belum habis.
Belum lagi. So maybe can you share, I mean sekarang now everybody's going to say Hujan boleh lah ada crew sampai 40 orang, right? Hujan can have that 40-man crew because Hujan earns like maybe 20,000, 30,000 one gig. But even before, like when you were gigging in small gigs, you had that steady crew. You know, where I'm getting here is the sustainability of everybody. Like you can actually pay for your sound engineer, you can actually pay for your photographer. So you know, if one band pays for sound engineer, one band pays for a guitar tech, then maybe another band can do that. And you know, it's mungkin tidak menjadi full time, but it's something that other people within the ecosystem can gain money, make it sustainable. So maybe Ipin can share how did you do that? Like,
do what? pay them.
Macam kasta money management lah in that sense.
Okay, so alhamdulillah hujan punya rate alhamdulillah. But then I used to manage toko kilat as well. So even for toko kilat kita guna same method. Even for small shows at least ada 2-3 orang crew, we have our own sound engineer, we have our own photographers. So basically kita punya boss lah basically ialah the band. So the band, you know, like you nak move forward, the band pun kena sacrifice a bit. So from, let's say from 5,000 duit show, you kena tolak duit your crew, your ni. So the band, you cannot expect, oh my payment 5,000, 4,500 kau nak kat kau, tak boleh. Boleh, tapi you don't have all that privilege, and then you akan sustain, you akan static kat situ, you tak boleh move forward. Even right now kita punya let's say untuk macam hujan kita manage, we have our certain rate, dan macam saya bagi tahu dekat klien, okay kita punya rate macam gini ialah because kita ada lagi 16 orang rakyat tempatan yang bekerja sekali dengan hujan. It's not just about hujan, it's not just about the music, it's about the production and technical team, and every day kita learn so that even the client pun akan nampak and then appreciate kenapa kita our rate is dekat certain rate macam gitulah. But then again, bila orang dah percaya kat kita untuk bayar at certain rate, kita as the band, as the production team pun kita kena deliver, because orang akan cakap, aku bayar kau banyak gini, show sampah-sampah kau bagi, macam tu tak boleh juga. So that responsibility tu kena ada dekat kita punya team. So because before this, during 2006, 2008, aku start bawa jadi driver Noh dia dulu. So orang time tu the perception untuk orang nampak guitar tech ialah, oh ni Balaci band macam gitu. Tapi right now actually our crew, dia career dia ialah guitar tech. Macam kita selalu tengok band Indonesia, band US, UK, diorang punya guitar tech can make a career out of it. So benda macam tu actually untuk music scene kita tak boleh terlalu fokus kepada band, kepada music, kepada musician semua. But then dia ada bigger things other than music and whatever recordings or whatever. Kita ada team behind the scene production dengan technical yang sangat kurang untuk, even ada there's time bila let's say ada banyak show and then time tu ada time untuk toko kilat, aku dah tak ada crew dah, because crew yang sama ni ada jaga 5-6 band. So orang yang bagus untuk bekerja dah tak ramai. So maybe the band pun boleh cari kawan-kawan and then train diorang macam mana semua, macam tu lah. So but then pay your crew well lah. So pay whatever they deserve lah. Don't pay peanuts lah.
I have a question
Tanya
for
diorang.
I have a question for Ipin. How far do you plan ahead for Hujan's progress? Like 6 months ahead ke, 1 year ahead ke?
Usually kita ada bukan plan lah, kita ada target. Macam 5 years target. 5 years paling senang lah. So let's say Hujan 15 tahun kita nak apa. By 15 tahun tu aku nak Hujan ada stadium show, katakan macam tu lah. But then untuk planning selalunya kita akan buat 3 every quarter and then yearly punya planning. So big goals macam let's say next year Hujan 15 tahun, so kita nak ada tour, and then hujung tahun kita nak ada big concert, macam gitu lah. So dia kena ada short, bagi aku macam aku buat short term dengan long term punya planning lah. So short term maybe 3 months release 1 single, so the next quarter kita nak keluar music video, but then ada 1 year yang kita rojakkan apa benda yang kita nak, macam tu lah.
Okay,
Terima kasih.
thank you Ben. Okay, I'm going to flip the tables now. Kita ada satu, mungkin tak banyak band yang as successful dan macam big macam Hujan. So safe to say at this point in their time, whatever they request from the organisers boleh dapat lah, most likely, you know what I mean. But flip the tables, who among us here organize independent shows? Siapa organizer? Macam mana kita as organizer pula nak afford bands macam ni? Kan? Boleh tolong share kan sikit pendapat gig organizer, band level band independent yang tak sebesar Hujan. gig jenis 100 orang atau ke bawah, you know, in like small venues. Are us people in bands and in band management, are we aware that most independent gig organisers tak ada duit? And we have to split the ticket cost at the door. Mark Waihu is here. Maybe Mark can share something as well. Oh, but we have abang, tuan abang. Silakan bang.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon sekarang. Nama saya Ahmad Mujahid Usni Misalim, Moja. I started Alam Bunyi, an independent organising team, I guess. And then we did Tingkat 2 by ourselves, DIY. Last year, one whole year, we chipped in with a few partners. And then I also performed with Shuna as a band. And as a day job and night job, I work as a doctor. So I guess that pretty much explains a lot, because we have no money, basically. When we started Alam Bunyan, I personally invested a lot just for the sake of music, just for the sake of sharing the platform and exposing audience with good quality music. Because I think because it states there, Pembangunan Persada Seni Malaysia together. And also somebody mentioned about appreciation of arts. And I think, and also we, in the previous discussion, we talked about how do we instill that perspective and mindset of open towards music in the community. So I think we have to start in the appreciation of the arts and have to invest a lot. So that's why we didn't really care about investing a lot initially. But as time goes by, macam semua indie organizer lah, kita orang hilang habis duit. But I have no regrets, because I think we did something. And on top of that, we actually, from out of nothing, we gathered a lot of support from a lot of indie bands. And we really, really appreciate that. Last year was a good hell of a year, because a lot of indie bands that I've tak kenal pun, we have no contacts initially apa semua, end up diorang pulled a lot of crowd, but then we did a lot of shows. That sustainability tak boleh sustain, susah. We have to admit that. But kita orang personally keluar, semua orang sanggup keluar for the sake of music, and I think that's why we are all here pun. One thing, so tadi I really agree with Taka punya point for Smack tadi. Kita semua minta duit, kita memanglah kita perlukan duit, but also Cendana pun ada limited funds, government ada limited funds. But you know what Cendana represents, you guys are not Cendana lah, I'm just voicing out tadi tak sempat. Tapi you guys have a voice. We are all here, dah sekarang ni one thing kita dah buat, kita dah gather. Kita memang patut very appreciate lah for Cendana together, everyone here. But we need one voice to sampaikan that message, to bring us towards that. Tadi Taka kata, kita bukan nak duit, kita nak you spark a conversation for us with the corporate companies ke, with all booking agents ke. We really need help. Nampak indie kalau online social media, thank you lah. Social media memang really help. Online nampak healthy, tapi sebenarnya kita very in dire of funds. I actually last year submitted a proposal for Cendana, got rejected, but that didn't kill us. Actually made us stronger. We gathered a lot of crew. We learned from Hujan. We actually took case study from Ipin, walaupun tak berkenalan lagi. Kita orang semua peminat daripada tahun 2000. Kita orang very young lah sebenarnya. And thank you so much also, nak take this chance, nak thank you kepada semua. For me, indie legends lah. But start semua band, semua artis, and I'm sure semua kat sini dah start their own initiative. From that, kita orang belajar, kita orang kumpul crew from our fans. But also, we enjoy the music at the same time. But kita nak sustain, we cannot go further without the help of the government especially. Just go. Also on top of that, last year before I started doctor, I work as a physics teacher dekat SMK Damansara. So waktu aku kat situ aku cucuk habis cikgu-cikgu situ, kita orang Shunas curi-curi perform kat sana kan. So take the chance lah, and then I think siapa nak perform kat sekolah nanti kita buat festival kat situ ke, kita push ke apa. Alright, thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Just to share, I think among us, there are people who's really good at writing proposals, and there are people who have gotten funds from Cendana or from elsewhere, right? So, like say Taka is here, Jason Vendel. We were talking just now about proposals and writing things. Iris, right? I mean, I know all these three, but there may be more. So maybe you guys can talk to each other, and then, you know, someone, kita tolong-tolong lah, we help each other out, you know, writing proposals and stuff, because I think that's one of the things that we have issues with. Venues, promoters, especially smaller promoters, bands, they want to do things, but they don't know how to do things, you know, documentation-wise. And I have to remind you guys that documentation is very, very important. Okay, is Razi here? Razi? Okay. So documentation goes not just for bands, tak apa, jap, nanti. Not just for bands, but also for venues, for promoters, for record store owners, right? It'll be great if you have a database, say Record Store Day 2019, Razi. Record Store Day 2019, you can have like a whole long list of, okay, album apa yang paling jual, album apa, you know, orang datang nak beli album apa, things like that. So that when, let's say, corporates ask, kan, so what's selling these days? We have that data. So usually, like, you know, we get somewhat demonized of sorts is because people don't understand us, but when we want to make people understand us, we don't have the right data. So if events, let's say, you know, corporate companies can always approach Didi or Christina Freeform, right, to just ask, okay, korang buat show ini, or korang organize event, or you guys manage events for youth, katakan, youth suka apa? Or what if you invite 10 band apa yang paling letups? Because yes, your social media can be good numbers, but most of the time it goes beyond social media. So that's one thing lah, data and documentation. Keep documentation well, and documentation also includes your videographers, your photographers when you go out on shows, tak kisahlah overseas, local, try to put aside for them. So that at least when you go online, you know, you can put videos, apa semua kan, you can see like, look, tingkat 2 kan, okay, venue dia berupa macam ni, and these are the bands yang dah pernah perform. This is how it looks like. So then, you know, orang yang cari venue can just like, okay, ini, or organizer ini organize shows yang berbentuk begini, right? Because sometimes, like, you know, you can find Facebook page, you can find Twitter accounts, but that's like, how do you work and things like that, right? Okay, Lee, you want sambung anything?
Boleh
okay,
tambah
Maja,
sikit?
sorry.
Okay, sorry tadi beliti banyak pasal asal-usul je, tapi pasal organising and indie gig yang kita, macam mana kita orang buat kan, nak share. And also database tadi, yang kita nak cakap tadi. Cuba bayangkan, kita orang basically bila indie gig memang kita mengharapkan tiket sales. So and like say yang macam hari tu kita buat last Friday ada Radi, ada Amir Jahari, ada Bittersweet, Shuna pun tumpang sekali sebab kita orang tumpang nama-nama besar tu lah. Lepas tu siapa lagi, Sasha Ningkan, huge names, but yang came tak sampai 100, tak sampai 50, because something we nampak problem lah kat situ. But these people semua we did for the sake of music. Waktu nak lancarkan Amir Jahari punya.
Okay, tapi apa problem dia di situ?
Problem kat situ, what's the problem? Kita orang pun tak sure. Tapi what I'm trying to say is that the scene is not that healthy pun, nampak online. Kita orang keluar duit, lepas tu kita orang share for the bands and then for the venue to sustain. Lepas tu lalas it's a deficit juga. Tapi we have no regrets because the audience open up their eyes. And then kita tekankan for them to spread the word, So for us, small shows is as important as big shows. And for us to keluar duit, kita orang sanggup for now, tapi in the long run tak boleh. So that's why we need help. Tapi bayangkan macam tu hanya bila artis sanggup untuk sudi bersama split sales. Tapi sampai bila?
Betul. Okay, Azmi, you want to say something?
I just want to share a bit, like, because the singer-songwriter scene, I got involved maybe 15, 17 years ago when there was nothing. There was no open mic. There was nothing. So the whole singer-songwriter scene started out of purely not because we all want to do folk music. It's also a very logistic purpose, because, okay, we don't need backlines. We really cut down costs. Okay, so, just you and a song. So it's not a fetishization of the genre. So it came out of that. So me and two other singer-songwriters, Jerome and Sehon. So they were the ones who were a lot more at it. So I joined in, they're a bit older, 2 years. So in 2005, they applied for funds from KEWA, Kementerian Kebudayaan, which now doesn't exist, strangely. So anyway, so there was funding. We got funding to do KL Sing Song. They got also from a regional funding. So I think that's another thing we could look at, regional. But the funds that we got later on for KEWA, we started organizing the singer-songwriter showcase. In other words, it was actually a festival, but we're very humble. We don't call it a festival. So KL Sing Song. So it started in KL Pack. So the funds they gave us was supposed to be just for 1 year, but we were so frugal that we managed to stretch that fund for 1 year to go on for 4 years and also release a compilation.
Well done.
so we still have that compilation of singers. So we joke about it lah. It's a compilation pre-Yuna, singers-writers in Malaysia. So Yuna came about, she came, she played one of the shows, she was early on, and you can see that she was wearing a lot of hats early on. She comes to shows, she puts her CDs out. And that was a very fertile period, 2005, 2008, was after the explosion that you all talked about. And around that time, there was also the Paul's Place black metal gig raid in 2005, New Year's Eve. That was the best show of sign of, I think, galvanizing the people in different scenes. It takes one detrimental act by powers that be that everybody comes into. So we were in Paul's Place, had a press conference guy from metal scene, everybody was there. And there was a TV3 reporter and all that stuff. Okay, but going back to that, the idea of organizing from the singer-songwriter is a very small way, and I still apply that, so because it's very niche. One thing what we learn from organizing, that's also, we realize that our audience are people who are not from music scene, and that's I think what we're talking about, right? The advocacy, how the public know. And most of the time we realize that a lot of fellow musicians get very, jaded, apathetic. People don't care about music. Actually, I said it's not they don't care, they don't know. So in 2005, we still had the spot of the major media, not major but newspapers, because we had our, fellow people who love music, they're writing. Music writing is dead now. That's a big part, and that's why I think I want to lift off from you talking about documentation. It's also about archiving. So it's more my academic side. As academic, I think what's really lacking now is music history. You can go to any bookstore, it's like, you see bands, overseas bands and history. Those things are actually, to me, academic. They're not the textbooks, but you learn through the stories about how they operate. Like a book called Our Band Could Be Your Life, documenting the post-punk scene in the US in the 80s. That's like a guidebook of how to run shows, what kind of madness to experience. So this is why my question is that where are all music academics? What are they doing? None of them tend to be engaged. So I asked early on, like, how many of you are just studying music? And we started realizing that very few, actually. People making things are not people studying music. The people studying music, where are they? They just become studio hacks. But the potential is also in the educators, where I think they need to really come down to the ground. And that's the one frustration I find. That I'm really interested in that. And later I can share some ideas, like trying to get a bunch of academics. I'm glad that Ili made this whole thing, this forum, which is great. This has never happened. It's also a success to get musicians up on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. so for that, I think we should pat ourselves on the back. Okay, so, but definitely, I think the scale is important. But that's for the singer-songwriter folk scene. So boleh, because you stick that way. When we toured Indonesia, Fikri was here, we also play like cafes, and that's how we kind of like circumvent immigration, the little things. So it's a bit DIY and punk. But understand, like, going to the next level, that seems to be, because talent, we have no problem, talent. I think you mentioned that. It's just, the resources. How come the people that's supposed to enable us, kind of like, not necessarily funding, but also, just giving ourselves platform, that disconnect is there.
I got a question for you. Is it a problem of, not problem but is this something yang macam kita are too concentrated on our own circles? we're preaching to the converted. We're playing to our own friends. Playing a show with 4 band, semua member.
True. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, in a subculture, that's fine. Like punk DIY, because you're not trying to advocate outside the punk. It's internal knowledge. But yeah. But the thing is, we're just playing to the same friends. It's comfortable, but very few. I'm still surprised that the folk guys can go out more because you're one person senang. You can just go out and play wherever and plan. But I think we need to get out of little circles. Even getting out of KL. I was telling just now Ash, like the fact that when bands go to smaller towns, you're also not just promoting yourself. You're also giving a lot of enabling kind of like sense of self-esteem to the guys from these little towns. Hey man, the bands come here. Hey, we can do this. So that's empowerment that I think is beyond just industry.
And you create a ripple in the locals.
You create a ripple, yeah. And you do see that. I mean, like I said, the metal punk DIY scene, memang studio gigs are always on lah. But for the rest of you trying to expand, I think that's where we need to sometimes think that when you go to a town, it's almost like you're doing community service lah. Trying to get the kids out, the guys, and the power of banter, I tell you that much. Sometimes you might not have chance to do a workshop, but between your songs, say a bit, about how you got there, like not lecture lah, but you gotta make it witty somehow lah. But I think that's very important, engaging with the locals, and and again, I think another thing we always overlook is venues, right? Where music get played, the focus always on the talent, but we tend to overlook where, what spaces do bands play at, what kind of variety, so all that can seem daunting to a band just starting out. So I think in smaller towns lagi pula kan, can imagine somebody from a small, like if the bands don't go through there, there's no sense of like, kita ni, nobody comes this town, So that I think is part of, and travel the region. I think don't go on holiday. When you want to go holiday, find a local venue, play. So that's my bad habit now. I can't just go holiday. I feel wasting a time. Apa nak duduk aja. So I just, before I go somewhere, like, okay, small venues, play, get to engage, the community.
Tapi kau senang lah, you by yourself.
Solo, so that's the thing. So the larger problem that I think we need to engage here is how do you get bands out? I understand that a lot of you have managers, and great for sharing that. I think it's important. Because honestly, Malaysia on the larger map, and this I'm talking as an academic, is that a lot of these music academics who are interested in looking at popular music studies approached me once saying, this was like 8-9 years ago. They said Malaysia is a black hole in terms of like music history. They don't know what's going on here. People study Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Is it because we speak too good English? Is it we're not exotic enough? But I think that's the opportunity now. I think everybody has an opportunity now to make a mark. And I think as myself, as an academic, I want to engage in just getting histories. Oral histories of where we're from. I think interesting, from record labels to managers to the bands or venues. So that's why I'm interested in trying to do. But like I said, I'm not a music lecturer, But where are the infrastructures, the universities, To what degree are they engaging in terms of what we're talking right now? Not just learning notes and practicing all day, That's boring.
Okay. So hang in there. Kita memang ada satu subject on education. We'll get back to that. Ali pegang tu. I just want to ask you guys that that's everybody here, venue owners, organizers, bands. How important is like traditional media still? Your surat khabar, newspapers, TV, radio. Do you still go to them, or you're just like cukuplah dengan the weekend session and cukuplah dengan tapau dah, wah gembira. So I'm pretty sure that's related to a lot of people, your gig
your visibility to
gig visibility, your band visibility, your event visibility. So how's that? Does anybody want to talk about that?
May I? Taka from the Developing Solitude. I think based on the gentleman who mentioned about metal, mentioned about the stigma in metal. Traditional media is still important to sort of eradicate, or at least macam hakiskan that stigma. But knowing metal and the media, they don't really gel well together. So it's difficult for them to go to media and, hey, can you cover us? Can you cover our event? So I think traditional media is still important to spread awareness to the masses. You know, as well as macam online media, macam daily seni apa semua tu. But you know, I think the difficult part would be getting context from traditional media and getting interest from them. Like, how do you market your band to these people so that they have interest to cover the band or cover the events and then put them in mainstream media, like radio, TV, surat khabar, yeah. Sorry?
We have Borak Kopitiam now at TV3, but then I think that's the only platform right now for national TV that actually support indie local. So yeah.
Oh, indie local on radio kan? KL radio, I think. I have the contact. If anybody is interested, come to me. Ada phone number. Ada. Yeah, because I was talking to RTM the other day, and they can't send people in because it's RTM. There's a lot of things. But what they said is, okay, now the phone number and email address of this person who handles this one slot of acoustic Indie X boleh join. So hantarlah. Okay. Chong, Assalamualaikum. Okay, Penang.
Ada soalan.
Yes.
Macam mainstream media, macam radio ni semua, dia takat konteks sahaja ke atau kena bayar? Sebab mainstream media saya rasa sekarang ramai tak boleh afford. Indie kids are poor, they can't afford mainstream media. Although yes, it's big enough to make an impact for the mainstream media, it's very big, huge. So, and second thing is why indie people never work together for once? Because indie people, they work solely independently everywhere else. Like mushrooms, they do their own thing here, there, you know. But in order to make a strong impact by all these indie guys, I have an imagination where, like, let's say all the indie venues in Malaysia, throughout Malaysia, they do one gig at the same day, same time, where everyone do the marketing campaign all together. Then it may be able to make a big impact like the mainstream media. So I have this idea, maybe you all can
like a hype thing lah,
Thank
right?
you, Chong.
Thank you.
It's a big idea though. Susah sikit lah. But you know, I see where you're going with that.
But it's doable, man. Doable. Is it?
I agree with the hype with bringing everyone to be in one place together. That's why I created Zonorous Entertainment. I contacted a lot of organizers, different genres to collab with me, and then we post up everything in one medium. Right now, most of them are still in the competitive mode. So a lot of them are collaborating with me. In WhatsApp also, I created a broadcast. So Zonorous broadcast where a lot of indie organizers, small organizers send posters to me, bands send me material so I can post it on WhatsApp, everyone can see. And then for the metal side, of course traditional medium is not good for us, but I do tend to find a different alternative. Let's say I search around in Google, I find for metal forums, I post some bands outside, and then apps called Amino. I engage in chat with the audience of Malaysia, introduce them to Malaysian bands, Malaysian culture. And then for my tour, I created a website. It will be launching when I announce my tour. All the metal bands that are involved in Death Twitter will be highlighted in that website. So a lot of visitors will be going to my website and look at all the bands. And also, I'm also planning for them to give me each of their songs a new single, put in a digital format, a compilation. Yeah. So it'll be released on my website.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
so, tengok this is a great example. In metal, they're so, you know, like selalu ada stigma lah, blah blah blah, teruk, syaitan, blah blah blah. But they always come together and do their own thing and find a way to promote themselves. And it's okay, you guys, you know, in your own bubble or circle, tapi penerimaan dia sangat meluas. Metal kids and scenes from everywhere around the world are so connected. And we don't see the same with things outside of metal. Not so much, I think. So you find a solution for a barrier that you come through, right? So can you, you wanted something to add?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Tasha. My question is, like the gentleman said just now, that a lot of enablers are not enabling us, and I'm thinking enablers are like the traditional media, like Surat Khabar and all that stuff, where a lot of people will see, the mass people will see what we're talking about. But do you think, and it's an open question to everyone, do you think that the traditional media, they are constricted based on the conservative mass market that they are pitching to, in terms of like metal music or female girls who tak bertudung, or gay artists like Alex DBH. They don't get the same coverage because they are trying, the government, because it's government owned, right, newspapers, they're trying to keep that image of Malaysia the way they want to. Like, it's an open question.
Yeah. Possibly, you want to say something? We have about 5 minutes left in this. Orang radio lari dulu. Orang.
Hello, salam comrades sekalian. Saya Loy dari Radio Rakita. Okay, to answer Soundmaker and your question, yes. Radio, because kita buat survey, kita bukan shot sendiri. Nak sustain a media company, you need numbers. So bila kita buat research, memang indie punya lagu tak keluar banyak lah. Because juga mungkin you guys tak nak tap the mass Malay market. You guys shot sendiri buat lagu English. You guys kena sedar kat Malaysia ni pendengar, peminat muzik ramai berbahasa Melayu. So that's why radio hanya main lagu-lagu yang keluar lah when we do the survey. Kita orang pun bukan main kawan-kawan ke apa. Contoh macam Killer Calculator, kita orang buat survey memang tak ada sebab dia punk. More like Hujan. Hujan was an example success. Diorang sukses tanpa ada radio airplay pun. Kalau korang tengok NWA, Public Enemy dulu in the 90s, radio pun tak main diorang. Diorang sendiri bergerak sampai radio nak main. That's what happened to Hujan, to Bang Face. Kita grab, baru kita boleh. Sebab kita ada management. Kita answer kat bos-bos yang tengok, diorang ni besar ke? Macam mana nak provide? So kita support if you guys, tadi semua everyone ask, Edwin, education. Malaysia in general. Kita bukan 5% je minat muzik kalau korang nak tahu. Kita orang pun buat research. Tak ramai orang minat muzik kat Malaysia ni. But how do you get them? Menang community. Ali Jo cakap pasal community. Soundmaker pasal paying for support event. Radio like Rakita, we don't ask for money. Cuma I'm sorry, we are very small. We are new. Kita orang hanya di Klang Valley. Kalau event kat Penang, kami tak dapat nak tolong promote lah. Kami ada tolong Big Jan atas. Kami tolong Mafi semalam. Kita cuba tengok mana yang radio boleh tolong. Even BFM pun malam saja dapat buat indie local.
Itu
Rakita pun
regulatory punya pasal lah.
Regulatory. Kalau ada funder boleh buat indie radio macam Express dulu, mungkin kita boleh berjayakan lah. Because to manage a radio, traditional media mahal. Perlu funder, perlu management, perlu lesen. Banyak sangat cost. Tapi kita cuba tak give up. Express tutup. Rakita keluar, BFM. Ada orang nak cuba tolong. One of the day, we need to help each other. Macam contoh Triple J Australia. Diorang work dengan venue Workers Club. Every week diorang ada show. Triple J carikan talent, Workers Club is the venue. And artis semua tolong. Tapi itu Australia lah. Sebab Australia, diorang punya rakyat semua minat muzik. So they managed to get that support. And Triple J is a government-funded radio station yang cool. Kita kena sedar indie radio ni pun nak dapat sponsor, nak sustain memang susah. Macam Express bungkus after 8 years sebab tak ada duit masuk. Rakita government-funded. BFM pun business-wise to sustain lah. Maybe kita perlu Trax FM ke kerajaan radio yang championkan indie supaya dia tak payah risau pasal nak sustain media. And talent pun, band pun tak bolehlah harap radio. Macam tadi saya cakap Hujan, diorang semua buat sendiri dulu. And then kita tolong amplify. Kita tolong bagi tahu, oi band ni tune. Contoh Mafis. Lately, I don't know you guys know Mafis or not. Sebab dia membuat lagu-lagu rakyat, senang orang nak menyanyi. I see the growth of Mafis. Sebab orang faham lagu-lagu diorang nak sampaikan. Even Pastel Light pun sekarang dah semua lagu Melayu. Bagus. Masa kita, I think is getting a lot on Rakita. So lagu-lagu macam tu lah yang sampai kepada pendengar-pendengar peminat muzik kat Malaysia. I have to say English music memang berat, it's harder. Metal memang lagi susah. Saya minta maaf kepada bukan Rakita kita orang cuba main tapi yang softer sikit, Trash and Pray ke Massacre Conspiracy pernah sikit. But you pass your music to me, boleh, we can try play at night. For metal, but we try lah bro. After we play, kita buat research, kalau lagu tu tak banyak hit from the audience, kita orang drop. It's all by numbers lah. We can play for 1 or 2 weeks, but very fast we will drop.
And I think Loy mentioned yang Triple J Australia collab tu kan. It's happening here of sorts, but we need to help empower.
Radio tak ada lah, radio.
Radio belum ada. Tapi kalau macam Tapau buat dengan atas, and then maybe weekend session boleh buat another venue.
Yeah, it's still independent media based kan.
Tapi you have to empower lah. That means that you have the community to uplift Tapau TV or the weekend session.
Yeah.
Enough requests, then you can go bigger and things like that. Like you said, numbers matter now. And for a lot, even TV station pun numbers matter. How Hujan, I think awal dulu got into radio was because of that lah, request. Banyak request.
So, and tak nak main pun mula-mula, if you guys want to know Hujan, diorang tak nak main. Sampai it was big and then they had to play Era, Sina FM. X-Fresh adalah main sikit, tapi yang berbesar because Era dah main. You guys pun kena tap lah, masukkan dekat Era, dekat Hot FM. Sebab lagu-lagu yang kenalah dengan hook ke, more easy listening on radio.
Okay, thank you Loy. But that's actually a very crazy number. Diorang buat survey 5% je of our population minat music, and all of us in here, in this room rasa macam, kita lah yang paling music sekali kat Malaysia ni kan. But 5% is a low number, so maybe education is needed to the masses. I think nak ambil position lain sikit daripada Loy. It's okay if you do whatever music you want. Nawai tu korang sendiri-sendiri lah. If you're more comfortable in English, then go for it. Tapi you have to be real lah. You cannot think you'll be recognizable as easily as somebody who sings in Malay. So knowing the ecosystem, knowing the lay of the land helps maybe. And sometimes we don't know, right? We don't know if our music is going to go far enough, or if we even want our music to go that far, or how far we want our music to go. Kadang-kadang we're just creators, we make it. Sorry Edwin, just we're wrapping up soon. So one thing I want to put out to you guys, should there be like a master class, a tuition center untuk nak be doing music, you know, like how to go about getting your things out to the media for starters, and how to go about being a band, even like, you know, managing sessionists, paying for other things, managing things not music, you know. Yeah.
Because they're doing quite well now.
Yeah, the hip hop kids, you say?
I think the hip hop kids are doing quite well. They got 16 baris. You know, I don't even see it. Is there any hip hop kids here?
Ni.
You're a listener. Vandal's the only one.
Sudah di-invite tapi tidak hadir.
And that's the thing, because they're larger than us. I feel like macam kita indie je yang corot kat belakang kan. Diorang dah maju dah.
Okay, but that's the thing, right? Kalau let's say Joe Fizo buka kelas, korang nak pergi ke?
Aku pergi.
Fikri ada soalan?
Okay,
Abang Fikri ada soalan?
Bagi mic.
Fikri boleh buka kelas ke Fikri? Nak ajar budak-budak jadi band.
Hello, selamat tengah hari.
Hey.
Firstly, I have to disagree with Edwin regarding hip hop. Hip hop is just a big genre right now globally, and I think they are tapping into Southeast Asia. But I think going back to the workshop idea, I think we all need a little bit of education. I think to understand the music business is very, very difficult. I think especially in the world of publishing, diorang sengaja use all these jargons to make us confused. Mechanical rights, this rights, that rights. We are actually very bertuah dekat Malaysia. We are the only country in Southeast Asia that actually has a paying royalty system. Royalty system that actually pays. Indonesia tak ada, Singapore tak payah ada pun tak apa. Sorry Razi. Razi pun datang sini. Aaron Aziz pun datang sini. But that is the reality. But also to just touch on what Loy said about the 5%, I think that is very true. I think all of us here, the musicians, need to tour a lot more. Because especially nationally, then it will give you a big slap in your face lah. That actually Kuala Lumpur bukan Malaysia.
Yeah.
So please get your heads out of your asses. Learn some business skills. If you don't want to learn business skills, find a friend who knows how to do it for you. That's how things grow. But I also believe that kita kena buat cara organic jugalah. I think Hujan punya case study is very interesting. It's also being replicated on Masdo, you can't deny that. And I hope also people like people who did Kami will also start thinking about doing like a TV series. Kamu ke? Apa kita? Maybe Rakita can do that.
Yeah, and I think that's where you have to be friends with filmmakers also, because I remember talking to people from buku section, film section, TV section. You're not talking to each other. When in Indonesia, it's everybody is they're all friends. Right? So
just the last point. But the beautiful thing about all this is we are the first to actually do this in our generation. So the canvas is quite putih lah. It's a blank slate. So whatever you do, if it works, it works. So everyone, I hope you try and experiment on how to market your bands, experiment on merchandising ke pelancau, but just try different things and don't be afraid to try different things. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Quick survey from Cendana, because he talked about having classes, master class, whatever. I'm not talking to artists, I'm talking to band managers or label managers. How many of you are willing to attend a class if we do a business management class? It's not even like 40% of the hall, so what's the point? Okay. So I think if it is necessary, we shall, think of an initiative, and if we do it, please do support it.
The majority of the 5% in this room.
Kejap, saya nak tambah sikit.
Silakan.
Untuk sustain music scene, kita kena treat music scene as a business. For me, support, enjoy buat something tak boleh sustain, tak boleh pay the bills, sebab tu banyak venue tutup, X-Fresh tutup. Semua benda kalau kita tengok, kalau track back balik to indie scene ni, banyak benda yang dah tutup because fans tak beli, dia punya ekonomi tu tak roll lah basically. So as organisers, as band, kita kena treat produk kita as a business lah. Kita tak boleh ada mentality indie tak nak buat something because terlalu sell out or something, because benda-benda tu yang jual, and kalau kita nak sustain daripada ticket sales, so kalau kita ambil 5 band jual RM20, so memang tak make sense benda tu. But then jangan ambil 5 band baru, so that's why you susah nak sustain. Ambil, let's say kalau you ada 5 band, 2 band yang agak ada nama, and then 3 band baru, so that you can expose new band and then at the same time jual tiket juga. So treat the scene as a business, buat for me lah, ni cadangan saya lah. So itulah dia. Terima kasih.
Okay, you're okay? Yeah. Okay, so Mike.
Boleh add on ya? Sini sikit.
Hi, I'm Didi.
Ada Mak Waiho. Oh, jap.
Go ahead, Didi.
Go ahead. I just want to say to everyone, Hits FM is actually, I'm not from Hits, but they're actually making an initiative now to make sure that their programming is, they're working towards 20% being local music. So you can actually send your music. Well, I spoke to the program director yesterday, and she was like, no one's sending me music, so how can I put that music on? So if you guys need a contact, you can just hit me out. I'll give you the direct person for Hits and Fly. I mean, to answer Tasha, is it Tasha? We had Alex TBH last night. He's a gay artist, queer artist, and to push him in the mainstream media is quite hard, right? Because how can you push that? His main unique selling point is that he's queer. So to circumvent that, you gotta be like, okay, he's queer overseas, like that's his buzz. But he's also a self-produced artist. He put his first song on Spotify by himself. It's now at like 19 million streams. You can't fight that. So you can't say like he didn't get funding. He did it all himself. So at the end of the day, he is the one that's selling himself. He sent his tracks to Hits FM. And for me, I was like, okay, Hits FM is playing his music. Fly FM, you got to add that as
Yeah,
well, you know, and
cool.
so it goes on. It's a spillover effect. So yeah, hit me up if you guys need a contact for Hits and Fly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that he
Alright.
sent his song to Hits and all, but for the Hits FM punya producer to not know local music and want people to send to
Yeah.
them pun,
Yeah.
it's another thing, right?
I understand, but like what I'm saying
Get out
is
there
that
and listen to local stuff, and then
the initiative
get them
now
to
is
send
just
them
to add more Malaysian content to Young Radio, which is about time right now. But like, yeah, it's moving to the right direction, but also you need to put yourself out there. Alright.
Send your songs.
Send your songs. Mak Wai tu.
Nak bagi semua.
Right.
Add on to this master class thing, because I think it's really important as part of the educational process. But then let's be honest, how many of us can actually get up in the morning to attend this class on a regular basis? So I have these suggestions. I was invited to attend like a few showcase festivals in China and Taiwan recently. I think we can have our own local edition of maybe something like music matters, maybe on a daily basis. And then to start off with, maybe we can have our own local, we call that industrial players. I mean, maybe we don't have the budget to invite people from overseas, because I've attended this showcase festival in China. It's called what's it called again? Sound of the City. So they invited delegates from all over the world. You have people from Glastonbury, Southwest, and then they also incorporated these showcases, so that delegates from overseas, they can actually scout for talent to perform at a festival. So I think maybe we can have our own local edition, just to get people from within the industry to involve.
Attached to music festivals, you mean?
It's more like a showcase festival where you have mainly talks and seminars on certain topics. Yeah, and also in between you will incorporate a bit of performances. Showcase festival is more, they focus more on forums.
Okay.
Forums.
Yeah.
It's more for the industrial players.
Ah.
It's like a buying process. Because in
Cool.
between they will have showcases.
Yeah.
They feature upcoming bands, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe if we don't have the sufficient budget to do it as a standalone event, we can actually park into certain festival, like Urbanscapes or even Good Vibes. Maybe you can have a segment for that, yeah, to begin with, yeah.
I think the weekend did that with Silang Pukau kan the other day.
Right, with
Okay.
Cyberjaya Music
It's
Festival.
more like
same
a
So we're starting
one-off
lah.
thing, but I think we're talking about on a larger scale.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So okay, so we're actually almost out of time. Really, it's supposed to be lunch break. Yeah, everybody's hungry. One last one, maybe Vendel. But I'm just gonna tell you guys, get the conversation on Slido. Okay, the QR codes around. Lunch is actually already there. Vendel, quick one. Make it really quick.
Sorry.
Siapa lagi? Who has the
Somebody
mic?
else has
Oh,
the
Miro.
mic.
My name is Kumiro,
Okay.
part of founders of Tingkat Dua Alam
Yeah.
Bunyi and part of Shuna band as well. So for me myself as an event space owners, gig organizers and band as well, I have this question to all of you guys. As I see, the main point here is developing arts for Malaysia. Everybody's talking about having funders, and then after that, it's like from point A to point B and then finish. But I think it's like nobody is thinking like how to make things go round. And then the main subject is like round table, and it's like the round table of the knighthood of in the back in English days. There are bodies that make the world go round.
So
But
you're thinking of
how do
societies-
us want to make all these music scenes, art scenes go round? That's I think is an eye-opener question for all of us.
All right, so Slido people, put it on Slido, right? Because at
Thank
some
you.
point we need to go out for lunch. Vendel, really quick. Vendel, come on.
Hey everyone, I'm Vandal. Been involved in the Malaysian hip hop scene for almost 20 years now. I've seen it grow from its infancy to where it is now, and it's exploding. I wanted to just touch on one thing, and that is the transition that the music industry is going through at the moment. What we did with moving to digital from MP3s, how it affected that, how currently now the social media is affecting radio. Where's your market, the market for your audience, where they are. Are they on the radio? Are they listening to radio? Do people listen to radio? I don't know. Like, these are the questions we need to ask ourselves when we're looking to build our communities and impact and reach out to our audience. Also, look at different technologies that are coming into play now that are going to be the future, such as blockchain technology, which I like to mention. I'm also ambassador for MusicCoin, which is a music streaming platform that is peer-to-peer, get paid right away from your listeners. You don't have to pay to listen. It's all free. These are new technologies. Keep an eye on these type of things, be on the cutting edge. I think we need to be aware of all of this and not just the traditional things of the past, where it's going. Thank you.
All right, and playlists. I think playlist is a big thing as well. All right, so we're going to start back again. Our third and last session, that's with Jan and Rahul. That's at 2:15, Dua Suku. And, lunch break is now, so go ahead, makan. Keep the conversation going on Slido, okay, guys? See you guys later, soon.
Okay, guys, welcome back to our afternoon session. You're not allowed to fall asleep even though you ate full plates of food. Just to be clear, I'm Malaysian side, he's international touring. So we all terbalik. The Mat Saleh is going to talk about local touring. The local boy is going to talk about international touring. He's more advanced than I am. So what we're going to do is we're going to present things that some of you probably already know. But his is a very, very interesting part because it's something that is using data and knowledge that is available to everybody to further on your touring. And then after that, we'll open to the floor. So hold back your questions, and when we open the floor, silakan, we'll leave you to do the talking and ask the questions. Thank you so much. Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to talk about local touring. First of all, I'd like to say something that already on the circuit, we have artists, venues, crew that are working tirelessly on the ground to tour. They already seen the benefits of touring because it's all about growing your audience. It's not about the money. It's about the ecosystem. It's about growing your audience so that you have an audience to sell to. Otherwise, even with all the money in the world, when you don't have an audience that listens to music, you're not going to have anyone to sell to. So, importantly, before you tour, you need to understand when to tour. Don't like Ili said, you woke up one morning and you said, hey, aku nak pergi tour Europe lah. No, you need to know whether you're prepared yourself to go on tour, even for a local tour. Do you have an album? Do you have a single? Do you have things to sell? Are you introducing yourself? Why are you touring? You have to understand why you're touring. And from there, you understand what kind of return you get, whether it's monetary return, you sold merchandise, nobody gave a shit about you, but you won hearts on the ground. The other thing about touring is that you win real fans. You're not playing on the radio and somebody's listening to you and said, oh, I like that song. And tomorrow they'll like some other song. Touring is winning hearts, real fans. How to make your tour viable? Tour with other people that want to tour. So you can cut costs, transportation, share crew, share resources. So that's how. Publicize together, promote together. Because one band, you promote yourself. When you're 5 bands, you've got probably 20 people that can do promotion for you. So yes, tour together. Finding your venues, suitability, equipment. Do you have budget to go to a venue that doesn't have equipment? Do you need a venue with equipment? And we have a lot of venues that are all different types in Malaysia. A tour team. Just now we talked about a tour team, and it's fine when you are a band at a certain level. You will have a lot of people who want to tour with you. But when you're a struggling band and a nobody, look for friends. The most important thing for the person who tours with you or who manages you is somebody who believes in your music, in number one. If he doesn't believe in your music, move aside, because he's not going to help you as much as if he loves you and believes your music. So yes, and keep your team lean and mean. For OCK, we knew that the biggest, touring with OCK, we knew the biggest thing that we needed was social media. So we knew that the videographer and the photographer is the most important thing. Next thing was one tech that could help us. The rest of us, one leg kick 5 things. Somebody will drive, somebody will sell merchandise, somebody will walk around the shopping mall and say, hey, show. So you keep your team lean because you can't afford it, and everybody pulls their weight. Working with a street team, everybody thinks that social media is the be-all and end-all of everything, but it's not. Sometimes when you tour outside, like somebody said, we are the only ones with the KL mindset. Everywhere outside of KL is sometimes they're not even online. So you better get a street team if you have the money, or you have a sponsor, can do flyers, flyer cars the weekend before. Get the word out. Ask the street team to tell people that you're having a show. Promoting and using the material. So whatever material you shoot before, after, during the show, use that material to live way beyond your tour. It goes for months. You can stretch it out for a series of 20 series of me behind the scenes tying my shoelaces, for all you know. But you can stretch your promo and your footage out. This one, which everybody is dying. If you got $100, please don't sell your car. Use the $100 wisely to plan your tour. But the thing is to share resource. We've all been through that before. We got no money. We're sitting in a house and saying, how the hell do we tour? And in the end, those of us that really want it badly enough, we ended up going on tour anyway. So you can do it. Everybody can do this. And currently, you can see Law, Nirmala, Spooky Wet Dreams, they're all on tour. Bands are touring. It's only figuring out how to make it sustainable. I know in the end you need income to sustain your future, but at the same time, if you look at any band, it takes 10 years, or any artist, it takes 10 years for your journey to make you into a legend or a superstar. It doesn't happen overnight. And that journey is as important to you, to your artistic journey, than anything else. Going touring, mixing with other people in the industry. Don't tour without merchandise. Even if it's a sticker, do not tour without merchandise. Otherwise, people won't remember you next to shit because you got 10 other bands or 5 other bands. It's about branding as well. When you go out there, you got every chance in the world to win an audience. Whether it's 5 people, 10 people, 200 people, 5 million people, you got a chance to win that audience. So you make sure they remember you. Checking venues and equipment requirements, a lot of people don't bother to do this. They just turn up and say, hey, how come I tak cukup M? Kenapa? Because you didn't check. So please ask. And for those people that are touring international, please rider. Because we do FMFA and I get rider, 1 drum, 1 bass, 1 keyboard, 2 guitar. I'm like, what? What is your sound? Do you need a Marshall amp? Do you need an orange amp? What do you need? So you might not get what you request for, but at least when you come out with that rider, we understand what your sound is, how you need to be. So do a rider and a stage plot, so at least we know what to expect. We're not flying blind when you come in for rehearsal. Checking logistics. Logistics, sometimes I've got a lot of hidden costs. Toll, parking, petrol, getting from point A to point B. Stuff like this you really, really do have to check. So this is a very, very quick checklist. There's 50 million other things that you have to do as a touring band or touring artist, but basically this is something that you need to do. Next, very quickly, venues.
Booms.
Yeah, I'm going to put it, I'll put it up for you guys. These are all the venues, and thanks very much to all the venues that are here today. Dream Hall Projects is here, Life Fact is here, Soundmakers here. Those venues are our incubators. Without them, you won't stand a chance to go to the next level. Our level 1 is these venues. So please, guys, as much as you perform in their venues, please promote the venues. Please promote the fans to buy drinks and support the venue. And at the same time, it's a two-way street. You need to do this.
That's 15 stops, by the way.
That's more than 15. The 15 stops, but
Yeah.
all the... Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Next, international.
Hello. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Raul, this is your morning.
This is my morning. This should be everybody's
This is
morning.
his morning.
Hi. Okay. So I'm going to run through a bunch of this stuff, mostly data analytics and why, I guess. I mean, the last couple of weeks, a few bands have, I guess, come over to my place, and, you know, Fuad being one of them, Kyoto, the guys from Bangface, Joe, Locke, and everybody. They're like, hey, we want to play in Japan. I was like, well, okay, why? And, you know, a lot of Fuad as well. He was like, dude, you know, I really want to go back to Japan. I was like, okay, cool. Like what? Like for a holiday? Or do you just like, is there a reason why you feel Kyoto should go back? And he was like, oh no, I think we just had a good response. And, you know, I was like, okay, so how much you think it would cost you? He was like, I don't know, 60, 70 grand. I was like, all right, how are you going to make that back? He was like, I don't know. I was like, I was like, all right, well, you might as well take that 60 grand and go for a fucking holiday, dude, because I don't know if that's the direction, right? So, number one, I said, look, it's not that I guess I know everything. It's just that I think we just had a bit more experience in doing what we do. And number two, whatever I'm going to say will probably offend everyone here. So you gotta kind of take it as like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. We're looking at this as a business. And if you don't see it that way, I am not interested in talking to you because I'm looking at it as a business. And if there's no monetary value in you touring or me booking you, it does not work. And it does not work for me. It doesn't work for the promoter. It doesn't work for anybody. So you got to bring value to the table. Now, let's start with step one, okay? Very, very basic. Like Coca-Cola. When they launch, or a brand, right? Whenever they launch in a market, what's the first thing they do? They go and do a bit of research. How many people like Coke here? How many people? So it's data, right? Where'd you get this data from? This guy. This is called chart metric. What it does is it's gonna, sorry, you were the best example. You were sitting down right here. What it does, he didn't even know this existed, but you know, neither did I a couple of weeks ago. What it does, it takes the data from freaking YouTube, Shazam, every source online, and it combines it into this little beautiful thing right here. All right? And what we found out was that Fuad has one daily new follower every day, 16 page views on his Wikipedia, so if you don't update your Wikipedia, you're screwed. Also, it had the wrong booking and press info here. But this is all data that's collected online. How many Facebook fans, the trend, freaking, let's go down to YouTube, SoundCloud, Deezer, where your top cities are. And guess what we found out? Singapore, gender by age. Let's see, top countries. And I was like, okay, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Indonesia, US, Australia. So I was like, all right, cool. So for Kyoto, Japan makes sense. Let's look at the numbers. We know what works. And from there, we have the data. From there, we would go into a market. That's where we choose where we go to. Now, Bangface, for example, what we found when Sam was like, no, I really want to do Japan. Went and did this homework. Guess where number 2 was? No idea. Number 2 was Philippines. I was like, So why would you want to go to Japan? Let's kind of focus all the money on Philippines. Here's what we're going to do. Like Coca-Cola, what we're going to do is we're going to do like a little bit of market research. We're going to go to Philippines. We're going to do a little bit of a radio press tour. You're not going to play. You're going to go in there. You're going to hire a publicist. We're going to do a bit of a radio promo, play some acoustic, go around, meet some promoters. Let's do that, get a bit of buzz going, and then leave. And then let that publicist, let that PR, let that marketing kind of work its magic for a little bit. Where's your label? Get the song out there. And then you got to target which festivals you're going to do. What kind of, what time period are you going to come? And you realize that, okay, in Philippines, there's a festival called Wonderland that, we had Yuna and South play for, and that's in March. But what's around that in March? Oh, Garden Beats in Singapore. There is Color in the Park in Bangkok. So let's look at that time period. If you look at another time period, it would be summer. What's in summer? You got, for them, it was Summer Sonic, right? Japan, and then you got all these other summer festivals. Or November, Hong Kong, you got Clockenflap, you got Urbanscapes over here. So they're different time periods. So you choose that. That's the Asia time period, right? You either got the February, March, you got the July, Fuji, Summer Sonic, Good Vibes, We The Fest, all of that happening. You got November, you got Clockenflap, you got Urbanscapes, you got all of that. So they're different time periods. So we'll work backwards. Okay, so let's start with now. If you're releasing now, radio promo, let that buzz go, come back, do a bit of like a teaser, let your radio, let your, all that Spotify stuff kind of carry on. Then what I do is okay, great. The data for Japan or the data for Philippines that we had spent that money on is going to go up. Then I'll contact the promoter. I'll say like, that band from Malaysia I was talking to you about that you offered me like $500 for. Look at the data right now. So you offered me $500 for that. Now that it's 5 times more, I want $2,500 and you're going to pay for flights and you're going to pay for backline. And they're going to say yes. And then you're done. Well, then you got to come back again. So now if you're going to go to Philippines and play like, for example, the B, which is 500, how do you build your kind of value from there? So number one, you got to go look at the data, which market makes sense. Number two, you got to build value. You got to increase the value for your data. Number three, you got to keep that momentum consistent. So if you were going to do a 200 cap venue, the next step would be to come back and do 300, 400, 500, right? In Malaysia, we have that kind of flow as well. You got 300, depending on your genre, right? Your life fag, your atas, Then you come to the B, 500. What's after this? Maybe Chinwoo, 1,005. KL Live, 2,500. Stadium Negara, Axiata, National. And that's your flow, right? And that should be your flow in every market that you look at. Now, the second most important thing, how do you know or how do you determine your value? The most important thing everybody should remember right now, never play a show that people can watch you for free. Do you understand what that means? Even if you get paid $1 million, if somebody gets to watch you for free, your value is 0. Okay, I'm going to tell you how this works. This is Polestar. This is like the Bible of the concert touring music industry. What it shows you at this moment in time, I don't know if you can see it, these are the top earning touring artists in the world. Number one being Roger Waters, whose average gross, this means that, you can increase it, there we go. All right. So what it shows you is that on average, if Roger Waters played anywhere, he would sell 39,678 tickets in general. That's just done. So as a promoter, if I called Roger Waters' manager or booking agent, he'd be like, yeah, Ro, what's up? He's like, hey, do you have any dates for Asia? He'd be like, nope. But I was like, oh man, come on, let's try and do something. And I was like, okay, cool, what's the offer? If I offer anything less than $3.4 million, he's going to say, what the hell's wrong with you? Haven't you looked at Polestar? And that's the kind of money they're expecting. And the same goes for all these guys. So this is live right now. What the exact... Oh, Travis Scott. Fuck. We just put an offer for Travis Scott. Nowhere close to 1 million. But yeah, so yeah, let's see which one. Let's open an example. Let's look at Metallica. Also, it gives me everything, like the manager, publicist, everybody's contact and stuff. So yeah. So as a band, everybody should have your label or your management or your rep register you for this. I think the Wi-Fi is a bit thing. So yeah, where I was getting at with this is very simple. Where did these numbers come from? These numbers come from you reporting your show, right? So what does this show? This shows that Metallica, on average, sell 27,145 tickets, which equals to that in gross. So if you call Metallica and you say, hey bro, what's up? Play my birthday party. Cliff, who manages Metallica, Cliff's gonna say, Rahul, don't be stupid. You know it's 2.8 or nothing less. That's it. That's very simple. So, but how do you get this? How do you get this data? After every show that we do for any international artist, we have to report the ticketing data to their management or to Live Nation or to anyone. And what that happens is that goes into this system, and that's reported as what your earnings are. So, for example, if you played the B and you sold 20 tickets at 100 ringgit, right? That's what, 2,000? That is your value. From today, that is your value, 2,000. But tomorrow, if you go and play a free show at the Square and you got paid 10,000, but there were no tickets sold, your value is 0. Do you understand where I'm coming from? All right. So that's very important. If it's TV or radio, you barter that out to like playing, right? You say, okay, if you can't pay me 10, fuck it. Give me for my cost. The rest of it, I want you to put into marketing or my airtime. When I launch my album, I want to use that value into transferring it into promoting my album. That, yeah, very simple. That's it. But if you play a free show, that's your value to me. It's 0. So that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah. Okay. What else did I want to show you? Well, that's there. That's Kyoto. Oh, I had Yuna as an example as well. Obviously, we have Yuna's touring manager here, Didi Ramlan. Hey, Didi, we gotta update this profiles here as well. But yeah. And where's the Malaysia one? Where's the Malaysia charts? So this is basically charts from Apple, Amazon, basically all the all the streaming platforms. And it's a Malaysia. Let me just quickly check. This is Malaysia only right now as a combined. So yeah, this is the top Malaysian streams right now on all the platforms. Wings, yo.
Wings, jangan main-main.
Dude, they got 2.38 million. Yeah. There you go. And that's, yeah, Alex TBH, number 3, yeah. Yeah, exactly. 3 months ago, he wasn't even on this thing. So, but what we can do is we can look at viral, we can look at what's peaking, we can look at what's, what's on the rise. And that's where we look at, that's where we book an act early. Because then you can see your projections. You can guess by now, he's number 3, right? So it's kind of working together. So everybody on the table needs to kind of do this and have a plan and have a, yeah. And then there you go. Then you launch your Coca-Cola in the market, and you're good. So backwards, your band is a product. It's a brand. You are a business. If you're doing this for fun or for fucking thing, you're wasting your time, you're wasting everybody's time. That's that, number 1. Number 2, look at the data, look at analytics, and number 3, get a freaking lawyer. As your best friend now, you're a lawyer. Number 4, take out the word Malaysia in your bio. You are an act, you are that. You're not a Malaysia act, you are an artist, that's it. Let's leave it at that. Number 5, don't play any shows where anybody can watch you for free. And I think in 6 months, you should see some progress lah. If not, let's do this again. the other thing is that, look, we're going to do this questions thing, and if there's anything you need, if there's any info, if you need any context, I'm here, help you guys out. This is hard, okay? I mean, I say this, it's, just because I do what I do, but, if you, look at me, even my band, we can't get it together, so it's hard. It is a thing where you as a band, as a thing, need to really kind of say, this is what we want, this is what we're going to do, everybody's on the same page. Boom, we go for it because it's an investment. So everybody's kind of aligned to that vision and that plan. So yeah, that's important. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so we'll do questions. And if you want to know anything, let me know.
There you have it. That's international touring. I think what Rahul is touching on also is a very good subject of mindset, because I don't believe that money is something that you need to push yourself. You need to push yourself whether you have money or not. Do you believe in yourself enough? Do you want it bad enough? You'll get there if you just keep on trucking. So we're going to open the floor to questions. Go ahead, anybody with questions?
Hi, hello, I'm Irene again. My question is, okay, now like we can see like you guys are doing this, looking at numbers, like how you guys book acts, even internationally, how to sell. But I mean, for Malaysian, even Malaysia festivals, are you guys actually like to the organizers? You guys actually look at these numbers to actually book out acts, or is it? And what kind of preference and whatnot? Like how you guys book acts for festivals? Yeah, local acts for local like for festivals. Is there any?
I mean, I know that Ben for Good Vibes, we all talk about that. We look at the numbers. We look at what's like coming up. That definitely, because there's no point adding you to the festival if you're not going to sell tickets. Why would I do that? The only reason I'm adding you to play whatever, Rockaway or whatever festival, it means that I expect you to sell X amount of tickets. If I'm spending 5,000, 10,000, whatever on you, you must sell me that value and more in tickets. Otherwise, there's no point.
He's treating you like a business, therefore you treat yourself like a business.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, the organizer will look at that. Look at your Facebook following, look at your Instagram following, it's the same thing. They'll see what you're coming up with. Are you coming up with a new release? Do you have something to offer them? That's what they're looking at all the time.
Okay, I have a question from Cendana to the community.
Smack balas dendam.
Echoing on what Rahul said on get yourself a lawyer. So I think we got Moja as a doctor here, so nobody is sick today. Alhamdulillah. Semua je tak payah kerja. But is there anyone in the community or related to the indie scene that can help on legal matters such as whatever you shared me just now with the band that was given a one-page contract and basically they're signing life away? So if they are uninformed legally, everything could turn out bad and they could be just another Malay recording artist. So is there anyone or like a recommendation that bands can go to for legal help or legal expertise?
Depending on what level of artist you are and what deal it is, yeah, they are. There are, 2 or 3 that I know. But we got to work out the deal, I guess, with them separately. Or, yeah, but they are. I can share those contacts and stuff with you guys. Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess all the bands as well, I think having a legal advisor or legal counsel would really help you in jaga your ass lah, right? You need to take care of your own ass.
Thanks, Cendana.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that I'm not a lawyer. I do what I do best in, and let the lawyer do what he's best in, and just that's it.
I wanted to offer, sorry, Fuad here again. I wanted to offer an alternative to all those guys who are struggling on a budget. Understanding legalese is the language that you use in legal documents, is an important life skill.
Yep.
Whether or not you go and get a lawyer.
True.
Eventually, one day you want to buy a house, you're going to have to read through your loan documents when you get a mortgage, your SPA with the developer. These are life skills. You have to read. Yes, Kak Jen.
That
you
is-
have to read.
that is true.
Damn, I've been doing it all wrong.
I come from a fortunate background because through my blooding at work, I've had 10 years of reading loan documents, and that's
Yeah.
why I know how to read.
Yeah.
We had that sessions in Chandana, right? Your lawyer was like, "Oh, interesting. You know how this works?" Yes, because had to do it in a professional capacity.
There you
But
go.
I mean, some people cannot afford to get a lawyer, and that's the
Totally.
case.
Yeah.
So if you can't, unfortunately, a hard rule of life. You have to understand a bit of legalese. It's very important.
And to be honest, there are like tons of templates of independent music contracts and everything online for free that you can kind of work around. There's actually so much online. There's tons of resources that are there, templates or whatever that you can then customize for you individually. Resource. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I want to talk about a
Oi.
different aspect
Hey.
of the whole thing, which I think a lot of the artists do not really, still, in my opinion, focus on from a local perspective. They do not focus on the product. Yeah. So, why do people come and watch you? Why are they willing to come and pay money, buy tickets to come and see you? They want to see a show. They want to be entertained. We see a lot of the local artists. They go on stage, they just play, and then they go off stage. That's not how it works. For us, being in the promoter business, doing shows and booking artists is we have to put up a show. We have to give them entertainment. We have to entice the people to buy tickets. Yeah? And the only way it works is that the artists go on stage and do a show, choreographed from A to Z. Everything is planned. Yeah? Even though it looks impromptu or whatever, a really good show is actually choreographed from A to Z. Your lighting is programmed, your visuals are programmed, everything is planned. I would have loved to see all of you guys coming yesterday to Alex TBH show. One of the best local shows I have ever seen in the 15 years that I've been around here. Yeah? And that kid put a lot of effort into the show, and it paid out. Yeah, he made a statement with his show. He said, that's the level that we have to see from a promoter perspective. Yeah? We were very, very surprised on how the show sold. Yeah, we had a full house here, considering for a local artist where we had a 100 ringgit ticket price. Almost sold out show. Yeah? So that is one thing that I urge actually everybody as well. If you want to come up and play on a stage, make sure you're ready. Yeah, you have a show. Don't just go and play. Everybody knows you can play your instrument. Yeah? Everybody knows you can sing. Everybody knows you can write. Yeah? But that's not what they are here for. Yeah? If they want that, they just listen to Spotify. That's it. They won't come and buy a ticket. So I urge you guys to put effort into that one as well.
Yep, that's about the brand and the value and increasing that, right? Hence why you have bands album and they'll do that album tour. And then they record, they go back and this is this album's tour. So it's a different show, it's a different experience every time you see them. And then, they get older and then what they do, let's do a show with an orchestra. Let's do, different experiences. That's the time that people are going to pay for that because I've never seen this with an orchestra. I've never seen, so that's what you're selling. That's, pretty much it.
To add on to that, I totally agree that you're selling the experience when you're on top of stage. For all bands in the house, you are the salesman when you're on top of the stage. Nobody else can help you but you. So make sure that you really do know your stuff. We've seen the bands that have done their jobs on top of stage. Hujan, Bangface, Masdo, they all went the distance. They dress up. They go out there. They've got an image in the head of who they are and what they want to be. They know themselves very, very well. So yes, what they're saying is absolutely true. Even as an event organizer, I totally support that. Anything else, guys? We're here to help you and to understand what your problems are with touring. We understand money is a problem. Money is always a problem. That kind of problem all of us face. But how else or what kind of solution do you have in your mind that we can help to put forward or to write into this forum, because it is going in as paperwork to Chandana. So please do come forward.
And in that masterclass, I think that we're going to do with like the lawyer and potentially booking agents and Yeah, with
Finance.
labels basically, The Orchard and all of that, the biggest like digital. Yeah, my buddy's the CEO of The Orchard, which is a massive like online aggregator. So yeah, she's going to come out. We're going to do this masterclass. One part of that's going to be how to get sponsorship and how to tie up with brands. And that's going to be a pretty important one. And we'll get all the brands here as well. So, don't let them leave until you get some money. Yeah, we'll do that. It's very important because a lot of, I guess, just don't know how to go to them and how to speak to them about it. And yeah. When is that, Smack?
We'll try to make it probably like second half of the year, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever. Yeah, I'm good.
I guess like July, August. Yeah, we'll try to look at our own resources.
Yeah,
first.
yeah. June should be good. Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys informed lah. So,
Can.
yep. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Y'all surprisingly
Oh, I thought there
quiet
would
for
be a lot
this.
of questions. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so I just want to ask about, this is for local touring, kan? Audience and stuff like Moja just now. Okay, other venue, but no crowd, and then like how does that work? If a band wants to go on tour locally, you've listed down venues. Right? Okay, so maybe, we can get the conversation going with venues, but if there's no audience, then how are we going to go?
That's why the conversation earlier on, that's why I brought up the conversation earlier on. We are all in the business of trying to grow audience. Right now, all of us gun the same audience, the same faces, the same people come every day in, day out to come and watch you play. You have to try and build your audience. The people that I really would like to bring attention to are those people who live in states outside of KL and stay in their states. Kudos to you because you stay in your state and you work the scene in your state, because that is a very, very important part of touring and growing the scene, because those are audiences that don't normally see our bands in KL. And I think we should be supporting venues and tour managers or tour organizers that are going out to those states, because that's the only way that you can build a different audience. Secondly, you always want to build audience. You need to teach those people coming in and seeing you to go back and bring new people the next time you perform. So I have told this maybe 5 million times that we're in the business of multi-level marketing. You go onto our stage, you win hearts, those hearts go out and tell other people, you bodoh lah, you tak tengok band ni. So you need that kind of drive to get people to come and see you. Build your audience, because building your audience is the biggest thing. It doesn't matter, you have no money, you have money. If you have no audience, you don't have anything. You need to build your audience. When you go down to the ground, when you tour, it's important that you're using people in the state, guest band that is coming in. Make sure they support you as well. So everybody is in it together. You support them, they support you. When they need your support, you support them back. Make sure we are a community. We have been talking about community since day one. We need to support each other. We can't fight with each other. We're too small to fight. So with that community, if you have 5 bands or 10 bands in a loose consortium, you can kind of spread the message to far more people than you could if you're one band alone. So just keep that in mind. Sorry.
I think it's the same with internationals as well. Like yesterday, I was running through all of this with a band called Kaya. And they were asking me, oh man, for our kind of music, what do we do? I was like, okay, let's look at the data, right? Let's see. And what I found, the closest kind of comparison was actually Australia. And I was like, oh, well, actually, that kind of makes sense, because what's the #1 song in Australia right now? It's a band called Ocean Alley, which is exactly what Kaya does. And that kind of like Sticky Fingers, Ocean, that's the kind of sound, right? The kind of reggae, funk a little bit, that kind of vibe. So I said, well, that's it. Focus on Australia. The main thing you should do is you should call these Ocean Alley guys when you have your release done and be their support act on their whole tour. That's it. Automatically, you get entry into the market, you get their fans, but then again, they get your fans from Malaysia. So before you do that, you always increase your value. How do you increase your value? You play all these shows where it's ticketed, means that they know that as a band you can sell X amount of tickets. When they come to Asia, it works that way. It's all business, and that's how you do it. Yeah.
Hi. I'm Andrew. I play drums for Paper Plane Pursuit. And now I'm involved in what our label is. I mean, it was originally started for Paper Plane Pursuit. Happy to see I'm not the only doctor in the room either. I think my question is, I mean, we're obviously part of the short sendiri, side of the spectrum. So we largely do things in English. So I think my question is more directed at Rahul. So, I mean, is there some kind of threshold that you would expect in order for this to be effective? So, for example, would you expect, say, if I wanted to work with you, maybe 100,000 Spotify monthly listeners? Is there some kind of threshold which we need to cross so that it makes you feel like it's worth it?
To be honest, you're really not relevant unless you hit 1 million plays on Spotify, average per month. Do you know how much you guys make if you made 1 million streams on Spotify?
Yeah, we obviously know because we're a label. So
yeah, it's about $12,000 to $13,000. Obviously, depending on your deal with the label, right? And how that works, everybody's slightly different. If you go to royaltycalculator.com, you can just kind of see everything, really. And then you kind of work your deal around that. But it's also just not based on the current numbers. It's based on projections. It's based on trends, based on viral, based on all of that. If you're averaging 1 million plays, YouTube, Spotify, and all of that, what happens is every A&R person in the world gets a little notification, and you're part of that. 1 million this week. Da, 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 da. If you get 10 million plays, all the managers of labels, senior, will get that email, and you're kind of positioned up. If you hit 100 million plays, somebody's already at your house ringing your doorbell. 100%. Yeah. So yes, it all plays a fact into that. But at one point also, you have to understand that we're booking like 6 months earlier, and you might be saying, oh, the album only comes out then. So that's all based on projections. How much are you going to spend? Are you spending on full-on PR publicity? Are you spending on playlist pump, which is, you get onto the right playlist on Spotify, and all of that. So there's different ways to engineer this to make sure that you're hitting the right demographic, because, yeah.
I think what I'm talking about is more like, is there like a bare minimum,
No, bro, there's none. Because, like, for example, I'll tell you what, we had this guy called Mac Ayers play with us that day. His numbers were absolute shit. But when we booked him, I was actually in LA, and his agent, number one, she's really, really cute. Number two, she has...
Okay,
honest.
there you go. You lose already. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but Meryl, I mean, she actually represents. She works for Paradigm, and she represents a bunch of other really, really good artists that obviously we want to book. And she was like, "No, Raul, like give it a chance and stuff." But the numbers were just really, really bad. But this was, I think, it was late last year, and she actually sent me from the label the projections, right? We're like, okay, so let's do maybe at that point, I don't know how much we paid, like $2,000, $3,000 for. Okay, we started with that, but obviously the value goes up depending on how the numbers kind of go. So I was like, cool, we'll do a show at the B. I'll pay you like $3,000 for 300 tickets, 300 to 500 tickets. That's the bonus, right? If we sell 5, then from those balanced 200 tickets, artist gets 85% and the promoter takes 15. Okay, that deal. He sold out. And he made that, revenue, but they were right. Based on the trends, they were going to spend this much on publicity, this much on PR, this much on Spotify playlists, and that works. So that kind of is the way around it, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, Raul.
Questions? Anybody? Coffee? Slow je. Yeah, okay.
There's somebody at the back put up their hand.
Hi. So my name is Afi Noor.
I'm actually more familiar with the English poetry scene. So I'm just like gonna go back to what we was talking about right in the beginning, something about like going into schools, university students, finding the audience. Just to give an insight, most universities nowadays they are looking into the poetry scene, getting audience engagement from that. And the poetry scene, how we try to build our community is that our events, we feature music act as well. So I had the experience of organizing a monthly poetry open mic called If Walls Could Talk at Gaslight. And our success, we managed to run for 3 years. And our success came from, one, our venue. Gaslight Cafe was very, very good to us. And two, we kept in mind to actually pay our feature acts. And surprisingly, although that the venue, just now we were also talking about like making the venue more accessible, right? And although the venue, we actually do sell alcohol and stuff, we also get underage audience members who are even open micers. And then we also get like all these makcik-makcik pakai tudung, babaik semua kan, just to support their children, and they were there, and they were fine with it. So I have a suggestion, which is not only just to collaborate with other music genres, it's also to collaborate with other performance arts. And then the poetry scene is also linked with the theatre scene, I would say. So recently in KL Pack, they did a show called To Which My Brother Laughed, in which the band Shudiam played. They played, and then there was also like a theatre going on. So that's a suggestion for like the music scene, you know, if you want to expand your audience, because from our experience in doing the Gaslight shows, they actually get more audience because our audience come from like a very different background. University students, there's even like some veterans who are interested for like Joko Katas or Sama Said, and suddenly they're like, oh yeah, we like your stuff as well. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks very much for that input.
Just wanted to add on. I think that's a great idea because you know, sometimes a lot of bands can't afford visual artists to do stuff. So yeah, I think that's great. You know, you should definitely do that. And in terms of the venue, what we're doing here is that in May during the Ramadan month, we're gonna renovate, and B is gonna be 800 capacity. After that, when it opens up, and we'll do a deal with everybody, so all the local promoters get a very special rate. And obviously, that's what we want to do. We want to get more of that. So we'll, I guess, have a chat with everybody separately and see what works. Also, like you guys doing the Darren and Jumeirah, the album launch in next week? The week after? Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hi, boleh saya tanya soalan? Soalan ini untuk Encik Rahul. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to ask, thank you for the presentation, it's amazing. But have you come across any case studies where the band, especially if it's a local Malaysian band, if they are fully independent? Because I hear a lot of mentions of investing in PR, investing in publicity and stuff like that. The word investment means having a lot of capital. So have you seen any case studies where it's fully independent?
Yes.
Where they make into this touring circuit?
Yes, but also it really depends on this because, for example, when you look at investment, I mean, as a band, even if you record independently, whatever, at home and all of that, there's a cost to that, is what I'm saying, right? There's a, whatever it is, whether it was in your bedroom, whether it was anywhere else, like, for example, maybe you didn't record in a studio, you know, there's a cost to that recording, there's a cost to your friend, like, doing your artwork, there's a cost to, you know, that. So I'm just saying that there could be a way where if that cost was 5,000 ringgit or 10,000 ringgit or whatever that everybody kind of contributed and, that investment, I think it's seeing how you can stretch that ringgit a little bit more or use that a little bit more wisely. That comes down to the plan and exactly what you want to achieve with this release. Or, really the band's vision, the career, and the plan. And I think from there, you can kind of figure that one out. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Cuma, I think in terms of production and all that is sweat capital, right? I mean, that is parked aside. But this is to turn your startup into a full legit. Essentially, you're trying to find a venture capitalist for your startup. If you consider your startup as a band. You get what I mean?
I mean, there are different ways to approach it. But I would really look for investment on maybe album 2 or 3 when you actually have that a little bit of numbers, so then you can value that a little bit more. But I think every band is very different. Every band has a different case study and what we're trying to achieve, and from there we work backwards. Every band will be different. I feel.
Okay, one last one. Sorry. Do you think it's important to make it in Malaysia first before making it internationally?
I have a mixed thing about that, but it is very important. I think to have the home base, it's always a good thing. It doesn't hurt. Yeah, because you're gonna have that consistent kind of following. The trap I see is that once they do it so well locally, they become lazy to do the international stuff, and they feel that, okay, now we're the best here, I deserve this everywhere else, when they actually don't mean anything, So it's you have to have that balance, I feel. Yeah. Again, it's depending on the career. If the career was really focused on Malaysia and all our goal is to do AJL and win that and local, then that's the goal. It's totally fine. That's your plan, that's your vision. And tons of artists are doing amazingly well with that. But if your goal is to be a bit more of a global band, what you do is you break down your numbers, and that's a different plan. Yeah.
Yeah, in this picture, I'll be level 1 and he'll be level 2. So meaning which, when you go up to level 2, you'll be looking for venture capitalists, money, income. You have clout over sponsorship, so you can go to that level already. Mine is baseline, really starting out kind of.
Speaking of which, actually, every label, Universal, Warner, and Sony, they have to. This is not even. They have to use X amount of money on local acts. So you can go to Sony, whose office is just down there, and just tell Aziana, this is the album, this is what I need, this is how much do you need. Starting benchmark is always 30,000 ringgit. But okay, 30,000, can we do 2 videos in that? They're like, no. Like, okay, push for it, negotiate, and then you do 30. But the 30 is your advance, basically. And then they cut it out. But just get as much money as you can up front, because you're never going to see that shit ever again.
Yeah, I think too many people have obsession with the word indie. I mean, you could get distribution or licensing with an international company, and you're still independent. You still have to do the damn work yourself. It's just another outlet, another...
The way to get the more money is this, basically, how you spend it on your Spotify numbers. So, for example, if your projections are that you do 1,000 monthly listeners, right? So they'll value that, divide by 10 songs, da-da-da. Okay, cool. So your value is maybe for this new album is 20,000. Say, give me 2 months. Come back, spend a bit of money on Spotify, increase that numbers to 2,000, 2,500 listeners. Suddenly the value goes up to 60,000. Take the advance, boom.
Cherry from Masdo.
Sorry.
Hey.
From okay, kalau macam Masdo dia tak ada digital album, so whatever. So dia affected tak untuk promoter, untuk data yang diorang ada?
You are not on Spotify?
Only one song.
Well, yeah, one song has 18,437 plays, bro. You should put more songs.
Dengar tu, you should put more songs. Dengar tu
You have 28,000 monthly listeners. You have one song?
I know, but the plan is to sell the records.
Bro, Sony has closed their manufacturing plant, bro. The physical does it. Don't waste your time.
I know, but we sell
make vinyls, make really nice vinyls, and sell that. And everything else is online, bro. I mean, I mean, you can have it as a novelty, I guess, but
Dia
Yeah, we are selling physical CD.
dia macam ni cari. Kita tak boleh stop change. Change is going to happen whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Malaysia is right in the middle now. Kita masih ada grassroots, masih beli CD, definitely. Tapi urbanites dah gone to Spotify.
Yeah.
So the minute you cut off one part of your market, you already cut off half your income. You have to think.
cut out 28,000 of his income.
Yeah, and you could have more.
Yeah,
So
this
you
is
have
one
to
song, dude.
you have to think about that. I mean, a lot of bands now, thank you to Masdo, are thinking of tak nak buat digital dah, nak buat hanya physical. Because Masdo sold 3,000 units in 5 venues. That is amazing.
Thank you.
But the problem is, kalau kita think about the future, you akan tahu that eventually kita takkan ada CD. Sekarang ni saya nak main CD saya pun I'm struggling dekat rumah. My CD player died. I'm like macam mana ni? So it's something that we really you as a band really need to think about as in the future. For now, yes, maybe, but
So
later on,
maksudnya kalau Masdo nak expand, kita should do the digital platform jugalah maksudnya.
1,000%.
Unfortunately,
bro.
yes.
Yeah, 100. I mean, that's not even a question. You should do definitely, but if you want to focus on physical as a start, you know, when you tour, when you're just for today, you're launching the thing. It's only on physical. Next week, it's on Spotify, and you can choose which songs you want. Maybe you just want to put your singles on Spotify, but. I mean, you have 30,000 plays on one song. If you had 10 songs, I don't know. It's like you times that by 100. That's what you should be making.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
good.
Sumpah betul.
And you can see your top cities. So JB, KL, Shah Alam. So yeah, I mean, you know where you're gonna tour. You got Indo, Singapore, US. Ooh. Let's see your audience brand affinity, dude. So this is very important. Yeah. So going to sponsors.
Nanti minta website dari Raul. Nanti you balik kita tengok.
Every band who wants their analytics, just give me your email. We'll send it to you.
Yeah.
All right. So look at that. So when now you go to Adidas, your managers look at that. Just gonna see like, whoa, Petronas. Did you guys play a Petronas event? Ever? No. Who?
Better go to Petronas.
Now you know. Audience interest, clothes. So these are the brands you should be following. You know, these are the brands. You know. So it's all Yamaha. That's very interesting.
Can somebody pass a mic to Iris from Salam Music? I think she wants to say something. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Iris, managing Salam Music and CRV. We don't have million streams on Spotify, but we do tour a lot. I think if you have a good product that is different than others, you don't need 1 million Spotify listeners on a song. We've done 4 tours in Europe and performing on all the biggest festivals there. The first festival was funded. We got from the government a fund. And after that, because of the experience from the first tour, we could do all the other tours, and we didn't work with any sponsors or anything. We just could pay and stay a month in Europe with the payments of the shows. So sometimes it can be different than having 1 million streams on Spotify.
No, absolutely. Again, it depends on the band and what your objective is, what your purpose is, what you are trying to achieve. I mean, with Salam, and you know, from what I've known about you guys, you're very world. You know, that's very. You know, your target would be a lot of world music festivals, a lot of, you know. So it kind of
one.
Yeah, well.
The rest was like pop.
But you're a
Very
different
pop.
lane. I mean, you're very unique in that you're in your own lane.
But yeah, it's let's see what you do. You do. You got 17,000 monthly listeners. You know, that's really good. Yeah, the data is still loading, but yeah, we'll see. That's pretty good numbers actually. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, it really depends on, again, the band and what your objective is, what you're trying to achieve. And like I said, everybody is different. So it's really something that we got to look at individually, I feel, at least. Yeah.
Okay. This is like for promoters, right? Maybe like Deets. Deets, hi. Okay. For promoters around here, so usually promoters bring in acts from outside, right? But would local promoters be interested to work with local acts to tour within the country of sorts?
To tell you the truth, they're already doing that. People like Zonorous, people like, who else? They're already bringing in foreign acts, especially in East Malaysia side as well. Mars KK Live, even House, they bring in foreign acts as well. But those foreign acts, when they perform, they give the opportunity to local acts to come to, number one, have access to that audience for the foreigner. Number two, learn by watching how the foreigner performs. That's why I am never adverse to having a foreigner come here and play. I mean, we should never be afraid of that. It's head on, let's go, let's show our stuff. So yeah, I think all of these promoters are already doing it. I actually want to make a suggestion. I want it to go into writing, that I think we should be more open to allowing foreigners to tour in our country, those coming in at under 3,000 or not even being paid at all, shouldn't have to do permits. Because then when we go backwards to them, they open the door for us. It's a two-way street here, and I strongly believe that we should open our doors.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything? Oh, okay. Andrew.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Sorry, Kak Jen. Is there really, in your opinion, it can be personal, is there really any point for a Short Sendiri English act to tour the country, all the way to East Coast?
That is a good question, and if you're asking me to be real, I mean, let's put it this way. Every genre that you decide to do, whether it's English, post-rock, metal, you always have a limitation. Even you do pop also, you have a limitation. You do pop, you cannot go to the ground and perform with a metal band, you'll get eaten alive. So you have to understand your limitation and where you can and cannot go. When you do English, well, now Hits has opened the door slightly to playing at least 20% Malaysian-made music. Thank you very much. It's about time. But at the same time, you understand that you have limited audience. It's growing, but it's limited. Because truthfully, the entry level for our bands today, no matter what genre they're playing, is dashat. I watch metal bands, I watch English-speaking bands. I said, damn, last time I couldn't even understand what the English band was saying and making lyrics from God knows what. But now at least I can understand, oh, this is what he's saying. And that is a big improvement in itself. We all got different scenes, but we have to push our own scene. If we believe that we want to do English, let me tell you that if you want to go to his department, you need to do English. I manage Aman Rai at the moment. I'm not even dare to go to him and say, can you take my Budak Flat, go to somewhere? Who the hell gonna know what the fuck is Budak Flat, right? So I need to tell Aman, you got to write an English song. Otherwise, there's no way that I'm going to ask him, please help me.
It depends. But then the number one song in the world in the history of YouTube is Gangnam Style. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Hey, but that one got massive backing.
That is true. That is true. Then you have the Despacito thing. So I don't know. It's hard to say whether that is thing. But again, depends on the. Had very, very strong, I guess, home numbers already, and then went overseas. Yeah.
Guys, we are in the last 5 minutes. Before we close, I want to we're in the midst of trying to do a directory for the business because I think that's so very important for us to be able to get in touch when we want to tour here, when we do that. Who the hell wants to hide information anymore? Just let's share it. Please make sure you register at the door who you are, what you do, where you come from. I sound like a Backstreet Boys song, but never mind. Make sure you register. Thank you very much. Last 3 questions. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Khalil here. I would like to ask bands yang dah pernah tour overseas or perform in overseas. Sometimes you perform in Malay or maybe English songs. Can you give some kind of a your experience? Talk about your experience. How does the local people accept the music? Maybe from Taka and Iris.
Hi, Taka here. I feel like you targeted that question to me. So how we performed at our tour last year in European tour, how we do it is, for example, we have a song called Maha, where we have kompang playing at the beginning of a song. And before I start the song, I would tell the crowd, okay, this song is about, this was preparation before I get married, and because I don't want to be a bridezilla, so I wrote this song. So the crowd laugh, and then they listen to the song, so they sort of get the idea as to why I was screaming the entire song lah. Because it's basically an angry song about me, about I'm a bridezilla, but it's in song form. So that's how I approach the crowd lah. I have on stage banter, so it helps like the crowd to connect with us. And even during our Sona performance, we were the first band to perform at the Sona Dome. So it's like macam shit, macam tak ada orang almost. But after our first song, it's called The Leading Reaper. It's basically like, how's the song? It's basically like a hantu song, and it brought in the crowd after the first song. So the first song, so oh shit, tak ada orang. And then as soon as we finished the first song, a lot of people came in, and by the end of it, berapa orang ah? Like nearly half of the dome was filled. And yeah, I think our craziness helps, but also introducing the song, you know, despite the language of the song, helps the audience to connect with you as well. Yeah.
My experience in Europe is that they love new things that they don't know yet. So I think if you're Asian, they would love to hear you sing in your own language more than to hear how Asians sing songs in English. So, and they say every time we perform, it's like, wow, we don't know what the hell you're singing, but we can feel it. And they love it. When it's different, they love it.
Hi. Hi, my name is Nook. I come from KK, Sabah. Thank you.
Sabah.
Very privileged to be here among you guys. Very humbled. Go straight to the point. Now, going back to level 1, Jen. Ash and I, my Bornean brother here, he's from Kuching. So if any of you want to get in touch with us with touring and however we can fix things for you in Sabah and Sarawak, please let us know.
Fix sounds like a...
Because Semenanjung people call us fixers. So that's how I know lah to use this term. Anyways, the question is that we've been fixing a lot of things lah for West Malaysian acts back home. Now, the other thing is for the Sabahan bands and Sarawakian bands, I think the common thing is there's like, no, you and so help these guys, but how about us? How can we actually get noticed by West Malaysians? They understand also you guys have got a lot of bands here already to keep track of, but they always feel that how can we bring ourselves closer to Semenanjung? And to be discovered is one thing. Every band's dream is to play in all these nice festivals like Rockaway, Rock the World, Urbanscapes, Good Vibes, and the list goes on. But you see, for them to reach there, they're like totally really, really struggling. Like, how do we do this? Ash, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I'm Ash from Kuching. So what Nook's trying to say here is that Sabah and Sarawak, we are, in a way, disconnected, obviously, by the sea, but also by the scene. Because in Sabah, Sarawak, we not only have privileges, like we don't have media coverage as much as you guys. We don't have a lot of venues in Kuching and in Sabah. And that's a massive problem, especially for a band that's up and coming. We have, the goal for us is KL. And which is sad because people in KL say, we need to get out of KL. So that's the conundrum that we are facing. And as somebody who owns a venue in Kuching, I keep telling myself to the bands, you guys need to create something back home for it to become a buzz back in the West. You know, there's like all this Westeros stuff going around you guys that we're doing back in East. That we need to do that here because nobody starts anything there. And as a band I just toured with Diffusion and Glass for Salam Pecah Laut. So the knowledge I got from all this touring is that we can do this, but in Sabah, Sarawak. But we chose to start doing it in West because we wanted to see that chain reaction. 3 post-rock bands together, touring 9 cities. We did it all from our pockets because we believe that we want to engage all the post-rock men. So this inevitably shows that the support is there. The people are there. It's just all about our own initiative, and we want more of this. But on a scale of Sabah and Sarawak, there's so many loopholes that we need to fix. So yeah, that is our, I guess, consensus.
Definitely Sabah and Sarawak is a huge market, and I think you guys have so much talent out there. But you're doing the right thing by trying to move your own scene. That is the most important thing. When you move your own scene, you will find that you will have 1 or 2 heroes that will come out, and those heroes will get the notice over here. Before you leave, please take a list of organizers that are out here so that you can pass that on to your bands so that they can try to get themselves out here and get in touch with those organizers, because that's the only way we can work, is like a community, so that when they want to go backwards, they look for you. So it's a two-way street, always a two-way street. So thanks very much, guys. We understand your struggle. We all want to go to Kuching and KK, and we all sit here and think that, how are we going to bayar the flight going there? So everybody has the same problem. You bayar flight here, we bayar flight there. Sama je masalah dia. And I tell you, media coverage, what media coverage? We make our own noise, just like you, right?
I don't know, man. I have a little bit of a different thing to it because I feel that I don't care where the fuck you're from. The data is online. There's no excuse. And you should be doing everything because Avi did it. Alex DBH sold like X amount of tickets here. And sorry, man, there's no excuse. You should just, it's all online.
They're
everything
on the
is
ground
here.
They're on the ground.
No. I don't care.
Junior.
I don't care with you. Then what are you doing it for, bro? This is fucking business, bro. Like, let's do this right. Right? Let's do it right. Let's do an example. Let's focus on one thing. Let's do this after this. Let's get one thing and let's try to achieve that one thing. And from there, we'll go on. But I feel that there's no excuse. I'm sorry. I just think that's, limitations. There's no limitations, bro. Everything is online. Everything is there. It's either you're lazy or you're not doing it right. And I'm here to help you guys out. So whatever you need.
Businessman Raul.
No, it's...
no, it is true.
I don't know.
It is, no, it's true. It is absolutely true. I think Didi wanted to say something just now. I'm sorry,
Hey,
Didi.
Did.
Hi. I just wanted to touch back to what Khalil said and what Iris said. I think the reason why they're so successful, Salam Music is so successful touring in Europe is because they sound different. Their identity is uniquely Malaysian, essentially. And playing those festivals, they have to compete for audiences. And if you sound like any other band, you close your eyes and you sound like, I don't know, The Strokes or whatever, what makes you think these people walking past the stage are going to stop at your stage and be like, oh yeah, this is a cool band? Like, I can only speak to my tours with Yuna in US and Europe. Like, we played Glastonbury, one of the smallest stages in Glastonbury. But she managed to fill it out. like it was not even the first day, it was Thursday. Friday is when people come to the festival. But she managed to fill it out because she has a sound that's different to what other people were playing. So to, I don't know, someone from Paper Plane Pursuit, I hate to be the person to tell you this, but maybe your sound is not that great, you know? Okay. But, you know, there needs to be someone to be like, okay, you know what, your product is not working. I think Mazdo is great to kind of go to that level if you take your stuff digitally. I think I saw Najwa play at the Weekend Sessions event. I think she's amazing. Her production is amazing. I think she could sell out a 1,000-cap venue in New York easily. It's just a matter of getting herself out there, and like, I mean, if you hook up with Rahul, maybe you can just work on like an Asian tour, and then, hey! Yeah, Mazdo as well. I mean, first step, get your stuff on Spotify and all that. Yeah.
Yes, please. Just to add on to the Yuna thing at Glasgow, when they asked as well when we did that show, I think what Ben, our manager, did, which we were all talking about, was that was it 5-6 months before there was a little bit of money that they wanted to spend on like marketing it, and what we did, got a publicist. She did the BBC Radio 1 live lounge, did the cover, did a bit of that radio promo, played acoustic, left, and then let that build. By the time she went on stage, because both of us were there, we're like, shit, is it people gonna come for this? And it was like, everybody was singing that track, Crush, and it's, like goosebumps, because that strategy and the campaign worked. So it again depends on what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have to close out our session. Thank you very, very much for taking your Sunday out and spending it with us. Any questions? Go online and put it on, what the hell is that thing called? Slido. Damn.
Yeah, and one more thing. Any information you guys need, I just want to give everything off, and whatever contact you need, whatever help you need, if there's time, it's all from me to you. There's no hold back, and you help everybody else, and let's do this right. Thank you. And make some money.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Our tables are still open, so you can talk to us anytime you want. Thank you very much. Ili, hold on, Ili.
Okay, last. All right. So just to wrap everything up, right? I think the main points or main takeouts that we got from this is, one, be friends with everybody. So to be friends with everybody, there's the directory online. That's very basic info. So if you, it'll be great if you can just step to the ladies in front at the entrance with a laptop. Just drop in, your name, where you're from, your email address, your contact number, so that we can slowly build a directory of us. A directory of us lah, basically. So kalau tidak, we don't know where to go. Be friends, and then data and documentation, that's very important. If you guys want to do Bunyi number 2, you can, right? Make sure it's documented just as this event is documented. And then your timing, make sure you plan well. Talk to people who have managed and planned tours and things like that. If you need help, like Rahul, get a lawyer, and then understand event calendars, okay? That goes with planning. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you very much. Slido is open until Tuesday. Please drop in your comments and your questions. If you don't know how to use Slido but you want to drop in questions, ask me. Then I can help you with that. Drive safe. Thank you very much for coming. One last one. Khalil wants to take a photo of all of us, like a group photo. So come by. Marilah ke depan. Everybody, come by. Atas stage. Marilah kawan-kawan, come. Right, okay, so I know the event is like invite only, but if you guys want to post up photos or whatever on Instagram or Twitter, you can use the hashtag Bunyi Roundtable 1, the number 1. All right, so that we can track the conversation as well. So, marilah kawan-kawan, come by to the front. Come.